Yo, what's good, everybody? I appreciate everybody checking in. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Got a ton to talk about. Not only do we got a familiar face back in the locker room, we also now know who's going to be starting Week 11, going exiting out of our bye, going into Miami. And I'll tell you right now, we could talk a little bit about Miami, but I think this is a winnable game for us, even though we are a mess, even though the offense is going through so many changes. I think this is potentially a winnable game, and I got my reasons why, but we'll break that down just a little bit. But again, I appreciate everybody pulling up. Make sure you guys, whoever's in there right now, make sure you guys check in, hit that like button. But I got my guys. I got Rundown up in the top corner as well as the Severe Raider. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure that you guys subscribe wherever you're at. Our boy Chris, Protect the Shield. He's enjoying his time. I think he's in Severe. What do you say? He's in Cuba?
I think he's at Cuba right now.
I think
all
Cuba
I know is my
right
man got the belly out. That's all that matters, man.
He's doing his thing.
He got the taco meat out, all that.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you right now, he's straight up. He sent us some pictures, and I'm just sitting there going, man. I'm just like, I just told Severe, I'm sitting there doing work, and he's throwing pictures out of the beach, sitting out on the chair, just like, I hope you're comfortable in your bye week, big dog. That's all I gotta say.
I'm happy for him, bro. He need that. He be stressed. He be stressing himself out, man.
Yeah, man. I feel you, but man, Rundown, how you feeling, brother? Appreciate you joining us.
Of course, bro. It's always cool joining y'all, man. Y'all, like I said, bro. If it's not TRS, man, I'm with y'all. I'm rocking with y'all. But either way, bro, I'm happy. I'm cool. Like our bye week is done, so we back. I don't want to say stress because really, I already know what it is going into it. But at the end of the day, still, it's cool. At least I'm back to evaluating now. Let's put it like that. The stress of evaluating.
I feel you, man. It's always evaluation. Always evaluation.
Exactly.
It don't matter if it's bye week or not, right? Because one thing we can evaluate is the fact that AP decided to send everybody home and said, "Hey, yeah, I dismantled our entire offense. We got a new quarterback in the building." New offensive coordinator, but hey, go take the week off because we're 2-7. But that's a whole nother story. Severe, brother, how you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing better than the Raiders, but not as good as Chris.
Man,
as good as Chris.
There are levels, bro. There are levels.
But yeah, man.
Chris is acting like he's 9-0. That's what he is. Raiders are 2-7.
Exactly.
Chris is undefeated in this game right now.
Man, Chris done he out there like he done hit like the biggest parlay in history.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
Cooling.
I don't even know if he gonna watch the game this week the way he looking. Y'all think we lying, bro? The way he look. Go ahead, tune that out, bro. You don't need none of that in your life.
I don't think he's coming back. I don't think what I'm saying. He's gonna be chilling in Cuba. Why come back to Ohio? Why come back?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
Ohio in the winter too. That's
real. That's real.
I'm with you on that. But man, hey, yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about Michael Mayer. We're gonna talk about what AP kind of announced today with the starting quarterback going into Miami. We're gonna talk a little bit about. We'll talk about kind of Miami, what we think the outcome could be, kind of our stance. AP officially announced that Scott Turner is going to be the OC, and we got a new O-line coach. That was one of the things that we talked about last week. We weren't sure who was going to take over the O-line, but AP in his presser, he now let us know. So we'll talk about that as well. But first and foremost, let's hit up the chat, man. Chat, I appreciate you guys rolling through. Forrest Widow, you coming through. Starting Minshew is going to cost him his job. Man, we're going to talk about it. Trust me.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Huey P, appreciate you pulling up. My 2 cents. You coming through, man. Appreciate you coming through. Mark, appreciate you rolling through.
We got Hatamaki.
Yeah. And Severe, you got the last one. Yeah.
You heard the little roll on the tongue he gave it to? Hey, that one had it down right there. I ain't gonna lie. He gave it that little twang.
I'm gonna roll with it. I love it. I love it. Raider Paul, I appreciate you pulling up as well. Queen Raiderette coming through. It's good seeing you in here. Chili Pepper 28. Appreciate you pulling up. B Beasley, I appreciate you coming through as well. SoCal Sal, you coming through, man. Always good. Seeing you, Steve, pulling up as well. Cool Kev. Always in the building, man. Northeast Raider Boosters, appreciate you as well.
My
Raider
guy
Knight.
Jeff, okay.
Raider Knight coming through. Let's see, man. Raider Way. Hey, everybody's pulling up. I appreciate you guys, man. Raider Way. Good seeing you in here. Remix Revenge. Good seeing you. LS coming through as well. Let's see, man. I just want to make sure I don't miss nobody. All right. Perfect, man. I appreciate everybody, Bill. Make sure you guys hit that like button and make sure you subscribe. We got Raider Rundown up in one quarter. The Severe Raider. I'm 805 Raider with Real Talk Raider Nation. Man, let's get into it. First and foremost, and just popping through Assassin's Creed. You coming through, man. Appreciate you popping through. Let's talk Michael Mayer. Okay, Michael Mayer reported to practice. I mean, it's good to just see him, right? Obviously, week 3, he kind of he had, for his own reasons, had to leave the team, kind of get his mind right. His family knows what's going on. Our front office, coaching staff knows what's going on, but nothing really leaked about what truly was going on, you know. And my take is, at the end of the day, I just hope he's 100% good. I hope his mind's right. I hope he's able to clear out whatever's going on. The only thing I'll add to all this is, one, you know, mental health is crazy. I think a lot of people are kind of come to the terms that, you know, it can mess you up. But at the end of the day, I got to remember, these are young kids. I remember when I was 21, 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes you need a breather. Not to say that, you know, it's going to affect how some people look at you a little bit, because you also have to be reliable, right? You have to be reliable in this league. And so no matter what your situation is, you hope everything is good. But at the same time, you got to be reliable. But again, hopefully everything is good, man. Rundown, what's your take on Michael Mayer return to the team?
Number one, man, I'm happy. Like you said, I'm happy that his mental is good, right? Like, it's like he said it in the presser, bro. Like, I mean, football do come second. I mean, we all diehard fans here, but at the end of the day, bro, football and everything, if it's something going on with the family or whatever the case, and kind of the indications, it might have been, but I don't want to speculate. But if so, yeah, man, definitely you need to go ahead and spend that time. You know, I see some people like, oh, this was last year, he may not have been committed or whatever the case, bro. You got to understand, right? When a player says the things that he said in his presser, I am so appreciative of the organization, the owner. Like, bro, that's not an easy thing to just do and let a player do, bro. Like, we look around, there are terrible owners in the NFL, bro. Like, Mark Davis is one of those dudes where if you really need that time, bro, he's going to allow you to have that. And at the end of the day, that's the respect factor. So I don't think he's going to go nowhere. I think he's going to be an integral part of this team going forward. And you can tell, bro, everybody embraced him back. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm happy he's back.
I'm with you, man. Severe, what's your thoughts on Michael Mayer returning to the team?
Yeah, man, I think it's a big deal. I mean, I think, you know, if you had asked us before the year, everybody was excited about what we can possibly do with 12 personnel, having a guy like Brock Bowers and a guy like Michael Mayer, whose skill set, I mean, together well. Like the tight end room, the tight end sets, you know, the stuff we have to do with them, it's going to look a lot different, you know, when you have a guy like Michael Mayer in there instead of a guy like, you know, Justin Shorter. And, you know, we saw some where they were running like near the goal line, right, where they're running basically tight end and in there as a fullback. Well, that's going to look a lot different having Michael Mayer back there, who's not only an accomplished blocker, but a much more accomplished receiver as well than some of the other guys we were putting out there. So I just think that it's going to help the team. Hopefully not win. I tell you that much. Hopefully not. Pump your brakes on that.
Look a little better, at least.
Exactly. I hope. I mean, I'm glad that he's back. You know, he did this interview, as you say, he sounded like he was in good spirits. He's also a guy that was, you know, all off season. People were talking about he was one of the leaders in the team. He's one of the vocal leaders and one of the guys that was out there leading by example too. So I think that, you know, that can only help the morale, especially when you hear about, you know, like these team meetings going on. So morale's a little bit down. So I think getting him back is going to be like a little bit of like a shot in the arm for the team. Hopefully not at a shot that's gonna help them win. Like I said,
Yeah.
Cool,
We got to
cool that off. Cool that
Which
off.
is-
Like,
You can
got
get your
things to accomplish.
you can get your 4 or 5 catches for 50, 60 yards, but don't be getting in that end zone just yet.
Yeah, not too much now, brother. Not too much. Your
yeah.
contribution a little too huge, right? Like,
Exactly.
relax, man.
My thing is one of my concerns when we start out the season was Michael Mayer was supposed to be that guy coming into this year, right? We jumped up in the second round to get him. He was one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end, arguably, to come out of college that year, right? A lot of people were high on Michael Mayer. But the thing was, is now you come on and you get Brock Bowers, right? You bring on Harrison Bryant, and Harrison Bryant was brought on before the draft. And so now you have Harrison Bryant, you have Michael Mayer, and now you draft Brock Bowers. And my question was how was Michael Mayer going to handle this tight end room now, thinking that he was going to be the number one? And one of the things that I really liked out of him was that he gained the 16 pounds in the offseason. And so I think that actually showed me that I think he was going to embrace that role of being more of that run blocking tight end, because Brock Bowers isn't that run blocking tight end. Harrison Bryant is not a run blocking tight end. And so by him tacking on that 16 pounds, I think just kind of helped tell me that, okay, maybe he's going to embrace this new role. And Severe, to your point, I mean, I think that he can help in this run game. I'm not saying he's going to be the cure to this run game, but I think it was more of a plan of him being that run blocking type of tight end. And that was the plan. And when he just abruptly leaves, it throws everything in a wrench, right? It throws everything off. So having him come back. Now, the one thing that I will say is I think it's going to take 2 to 3 games for him to get his feet back underneath him. I don't know what he was doing
100%.
for the last,
100%.
5-6 weeks. And so I don't know. It's going to take him 2-3 games. You look at Colton Miller, right? Colton Miller had an entire offseason, no preseason. It took him probably 5-6 games just to kind of look normal. And so I think it's going to take Michael Mayer 2, maybe 3 games to get his feet underneath him. So got to be patient with it. But at the same time, I really want to see what this Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer tandem can really look like. Because if Michael Mayer if he exited the team week 3, there's a good chance he was mentally out of it a few weeks before that. You don't just leave the team just because yesterday you felt bad. This is something he was probably sitting on and going, okay, my mind's just not right for probably a couple weeks at least. And so I want to truly see what this Michael Mayer, Brock Bowers tandem looks like. And if it can be fairly, if it can be deadly, then I think that's something you want to move on with potentially in the offseason and into next season, depending on who our offensive coordinator is. So, and look, if it doesn't look right or if it just doesn't gel, then guess what? Now you maybe have someone you could potentially look at in a trade situation in the offseason, because there's going to be someone that might value him. So, it's good to have him back. But once again, I appreciate everybody in the chat, new people coming in. Kilpie, you coming through. I appreciate you pulling up. Dre for show. Always good seeing you. Ayo Raider, I appreciate you pulling up as well. Myra G's in the building. I appreciate you. Ducky the Butcher, I appreciate you. And the picture represents the name, and I appreciate that. But more and more people coming through. John Leone, appreciate you pulling up. Isaiah Randolph, appreciate you coming through as well. Want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Ian 16, but appreciate you coming up. And a lot of people are talking about Michael Mayer, and a lot of them are just saying, hey, happy to see you. Happy to see him back. And Ian 16, Chiefs Kingdom, I'm telling you, who's the other Chiefs guy that pulls through in here? What's his name?
Tyler.
The one that used to be a Chargers fan, but now he's a Chiefs fan.
Tyler.
Damn, I forgot his name, bro. I don't know his name. When he come in here, I'll know, bro. When he come in here, I'll know.
It's Tyler.
Tyler, there you go, bro.
Yeah, Tyler.
Hey, Tyler
so just so you know,
he was so mad.
Yeah, Ian 16, I'm just let you know, I'm bringing you up. Might be the last time. I'm just letting you know, but I appreciate you in the chat though. Rile these people up. Like we got El Capitan, man. I appreciate
How the hell
you.
he got Miami on there? He talking about
as well.
Kingdom. I'm confused.
Know, right? John B, you pulling up,
Confused.
and Billy Davis, man. Always good seeing you.
Okay.
Seeing you in here.
Big Billy, what up, man?
Again, with all you guys, man. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I got Rundown in one corner. I got the Severe Raider. I'm Real Talk Raider Nation, 805 Raider. I appreciate everybody pulling through. So let's do this. Obviously, we just talked about Michael Mayer. Let's talk about the starting quarterback for what, the third time now? She started out the season, then got benched. Then Aiden O'Connell got his thumb hurt, and then he was brought back, and then he was benched again for Ritter, and now he's back again. I don't know if I've ever seen a one quarterback get started and benched in one season. Maybe Anthony Richardson might be that. Might be that. I think it was announced that he just got a starting job
back. He just got a job back.
I know, but let's talk about it, man. Because honestly, chat. Let me know what are your guys' thoughts on Gardner Minshew being named the starter coming out of the bye week. The very first comment, Forrest Widow, you said starting Minshew is going to cost him his job, and we're going to talk about that right now. So let's do this, man. Severe, I'm going to throw it at you. What's your thoughts on Gardner Minshew being named the starting quarterback?
Oh, I think the mission is very clear. I think we all know it. I think the organization they're all singing from the same sheet of music right now. They know what time it is, and it is time to secure that 2-15 record. They think that they understand that Gardner Minshew is the guy. Hey, you got to dance with who you came to the party with. That's the guy that's been leading them to this number one pick so far. Let's let him finish the job. Let's let him finish the job, baby. Number one pick coming on the way. Secure that thing. So, I just think that. But to be serious, I just think that Antonio Pierce wants to give him a shot, kind of see what he does in his new offense. Apparently, you hear what he talked about in his press conference. He didn't feel that the last regime, whether that be Rich Gangarilla, whether that be Luke Getsy, they were instilling enough confidence in him. They were like lifting him up enough, and he talked about like they want to show Gardner that they believed in him, and so I guess that's what this move is supposed to do, but. I'm only believing one thing, and that is higher draft picks. That's what I believe in. So, I'm going to the church. I'm at the church of number one overall right now. I'm paying my tithes and all that, putting money into the building fund, all that.
I'm with you, man. Raider Knight, he says, let's see if Minshew performs better with a different play caller. Maybe. I think time will only tell. Rundown, man. What's your take on it? What's your take on Gardner Minshew now being back under center?
AP saying all that, man. We got to instill that confidence. We got to do all that. Hey, man, I don't know how much confidence I was supposed to have when I was watching him play. I don't know what I was supposed to say to him. Good job coming off the field after the second pick of the game. Like, what am I supposed to tell him? But either way, right? Like Severe said, we know the mission is clear, bro. I saw some people getting mad that he was named the starter. Why? Why are you getting mad, bro? We all know what we need to do right now. I don't know why. People be confused. Do you want the pick or not? Now, all of a sudden, after the bye week, people lose all sensibility, and they're like, you know what? No, we want to win now. Put in Ritter. Bro, Ritter's not that much better than Gardner Minshew. Let's be honest with ourselves, bro. I mean, you done moved play callers. You feel what I'm saying? The offense is going to be the same, really, but at the end of the day, bro, you've already fired somebody in the building, and it's already a shit show going on offense, bro. So it don't make no sense to even do that at this point.
So I'm with you, but here's the only thing that, again, I'm putting kind of that coach's hat on, and not only the coach's hat, but also kind of a general manager's hat, right? One of the comments that AP said in his presser day when they asked who's going to be the starting quarterback, and he instantly said Minshew, right? And then he said, what else? What do we have to lose? What do we have to lose at this point? And I'm sitting there going, wait a second. So you followed up with naming Gardner Minshew the starter, and
what do we have to lose?
Followed it up with what do we got to lose at this point? And it's like, and then you want to follow that up, bro. Then you want to follow that up with we need to instill confidence in him. We need his confidence to come back. But that's the comment that you say. What do we have to lose at this point? And it's like, to me, and again, he could be working this behind the scenes. Okay, so I'm just taking it for what he said out of his own mouth. But here's my thing: is Gardner Minshew ain't the guy. You've already benched him twice, 3 times, basically, right?
Exactly.
I'm here to understand what is the potential of this team. Because when Aiden O'Connell comes back, he broke his thumb. I don't know if he's going to come back in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, but when he comes back, there's a really good chance Aiden O'Connell is the starting quarterback, right? Gardner Minshew was benched for Aiden O'Connell, and then he got hurt. So my only assumption is that Aiden O'Connell is going to come back and be that starting quarterback. Here's your opportunity to just see what Ritter has. Because if you do end up drafting a quarterback next year, let's say we're a top 5 pick. If we're a top 5 pick and we get a quarterback and you treat it, I think, in my opinion, correctly, to where you at least let that quarterback sit for a portion of the season, then you can go into that next season confidently that either Aiden O'Connell can be your starter to kind of help the rookie learn, or you have Ritter that could be somewhat of a veteran to kind of help that rookie learn or be the starter. And so this is your 2, maybe 3 game stretch to really see what does Ritter have, and let's see him in game time situation, because why start Minshew? Minshew, you know what Minshew is.
Yeah.
Minshew's
I'm going to just say it real quick like this, 805. Ritter's 25, bro. Too much potential. Too much. We can't have it. You know what I'm saying? We can't have all that. He's 25 years old, bro. He start having some games. All of a sudden, people start second guessing all of a sudden, like, oh, maybe Ritter can be the guy. You know how we work, bro. He get 2 games, 3 games under his belt. Now all of a sudden, but you know what? Maybe we don't have to draft a quarterback in the first round. I don't even want there to be no question.
So I'm with you, but look, there's a decent chance that we're gonna all of a sudden see a spark against this Miami team, right? Because anytime you have a coaching change, anytime you have a quarterback change, you might see a spark. So we might see a spark against Miami, and then we'll go flat again, right? Look, we had a spark against the Giants last year when we got rid of McDaniels. Look at what Jameis Winston did against the Ravens, right? You know what I'm saying? And so that just happens in the NFL. So we might see a spark against Miami, but at the end of the day, it's still Scott Turner calling the offense. It's still a complete offensive change. We still have question marks on the offensive line. We still don't have, we still have the tight end room that we have. Yes, Michael Mayer is back, but it's going to take him a couple games at least to get his feet underneath them. So we might still see Justin Shorter, a practice squad tight end out there. So this running game is still not there. And so the reality is I still don't see much success this offense is going to be able to find in this situation. Scott Turner isn't going to all of a sudden turn this thing around. So at the same time, I just want to take these next 2 to maybe 3 games. What does Ritter have? Show me what you have in a game time situation, because could you be that competitor in the offseason that if we draft a rookie high, then we can allow him to sit and we have a guy that could allow us to be competitive next season. So I just want to get a good look at him, because if you don't, and if Gardner Minshew plays the next 2-3 games, because you went with Gardner now, you're going to bench Gardner again? Like, why would you bench him again when you've already seen what he is? Like, that's like at that point, like, I'll be dead honest. Like, at that point, it's just fucked up with AP, because it's like, bro, you were like playing with this man's emotions. Like,
what's the record of somebody being benched and started in one season? Like, what's does somebody have a record on that, bro?
I don't know. I'm trying to think somebody that was benched. I'm trying to think somebody that was benched a lot. Was Christian Ponder benched a bunch when he was playing? I feel like he was
going back to Christian Ponder
around a lot.
I don't know. But go for it, sir.
But you know what? There's 2 things, right? You do not want to put because AP said, what do we have to lose? And that is a very good question. But what we have to lose is losses. We can lose out on losses, and those are called wins. And if you win these games, you know what you lose? You lose draft position. So what do we have to lose? We have losses we can lose. All right. We need to keep stacking these losses, baby. Keep stacking these losses.
So here's the question.
Don't mess with the formula. The formula is in place. Do not mess with the formula.
Exactly, bro.
Here's a question. Is like I mean, I don't know if we want to give AP a little bit of credit just because he did, you brought Gardner Minshew in, you're staying loyal to him a little bit. Like, loyalty does go a long way in the league. I understand that. I understand at the same time, the same breath, at the end of the day, it's a business. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. But you go with Gardner Minshew, you know what he is. He's going to most likely lose you football games.
Exactly.
And again, it's not because, and you know, Severe, and run down how much I know you check in sometimes when we do kind of the breakdown of film and stuff.
Yep.
But like Gardner Minshew loses you games. He's inaccurate.
Yep.
He can't break down a defense. He could literally see the open receiver in his plain sight and just doesn't pull the trigger. I don't think he trusts his arm when he's caught at certain positions. I don't think he trusts that he can get the ball there. So he just doesn't pull the trigger. He takes the sack. He runs when he shouldn't, whatever it may be. But as AP, if your job is truly on the line, why do you go with Minshew when Minshew's the reason why you're 2-7? So,
see that is the question though, right? The question would be, is his job on the line? This is just me. This is me, and I don't know how y'all feel. I know y'all definitely have different opinions, but just watching his press conference, bro, it don't look like no one stressed for his job to me.
he looked way too happy.
He don't look like nobody's stressed.
He went out there, shoulders all relaxed. He was like,
hey man, let's smile today, baby. Let's smile. Let's get right. As soon as he started like that, I was like, oh yeah, he's not worried about his job, bro.
He just smoked a fat one with Gardner. Like, know what, Gardner, I'm gonna keep you in there, dog. I'm gonna keep you in there.
Hey, dog. You know what I noticed too, real quick? 805. I do notice this, and I'm gonna let y'all go off because you know how all the coaching rankings or whatever, you know, Vegas is already starting who's gonna get fired, whatever the case for next year as far as head coaches. I never see his name on any of these lists. I see Doug Peterson. I see multiple name, Brian Daboll, maybe Stefanski. I don't be seeing AP's names on some of these head coaches to watch for to get fired lists, which is weird to me, but it might not mean nothing. I just don't be seeing
it. And AP came up to that pressure. I'm just going to say this because I got to get it out. Hopefully our boy Chris at Protective Shield is just kind of enjoying his Mai Tai or whatever he's drinking on over there in Cuba, or whatever. But AP looked like he just got done chilling with Chris over in Cuba. Like,
I'm telling you,
he came like he was fresh. Like he took his time off as well. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, look, I don't care. It's either you're the leader of the ship or you're the CEO of a company. When people go and rest, if you're the leader, if you're the CEO of the company and you're in this situation, you don't rest. And man, AP just looked way too damn happy coming up there. So I don't know if he's just playing it off as well as I've ever seen, or he's secure. Again, all we can do is kind of read into things, but it's tough, man.
Yeah.
But that, you know, most of the chat, man, I'm telling you, chat, I appreciate you. You guys are firing away. You guys are firing away as long as that Ian 16 ain't talking too much. I see you guys going back and forth.
Yeah,
I mean, I know people say, yeah, it could mean something for the job. It could mean all that, bro. But like, just me, like, he just looks way too relaxed. Team, yes, we've been losing, but the team has came out there and the effort at least has been there for what I've seen, right? Like, I mean, I've already seen a team quit on a coach before, and it don't feel like how it felt before. It don't feel like that.
Not fact.
So, you know, one thing that I do, the one thing I do want to point out, and this is where it's tough, is when you talk about AP at the end of the day, he wanted Cliff Kingsbury, right? And there's rumors, there's allegations that Cliff Kingsbury won a 3-year contract and we wouldn't give it to him. Okay. Right. And so there's those allegations, and that kind of makes you think, is AP on a 2-year contract? You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to sign a coordinator over the length of a head coach. Now, at the same time, you also know that AP wanted Jaden Daniels. Now, we were never going to jump up and get him. Okay, so we all know that, and the Commanders were never going to get off that spot. But if that was AP's ultimate plan, was to bring in Cliff Kingsbury, but he wasn't able to pull the trigger because maybe Mark Davis didn't want to extend that contract. One of the biggest question marks that I've had is, who can AP bring in Can AP bring in a good offensive coordinator? Will there be a respected offensive coordinator, maybe a young, up-and-coming mind that's going to want to coach under AP? Because Patrick Graham was already in the building.
Right.
You know, if Cliff Kingsbury was that close to sign on the dotted line, an ex-head coach, a coach that was sought after as a coordinator at that point, Cliff Kingsbury could have went to other places and got an office coordinator job, and he obviously decided on the Commanders. Does that tell you guys that, man, maybe AP could bring somebody in? Now, this season is not playing out how we want it to be, but do you guys think AP does have a chance at bringing in a quality offensive coordinator, a young mind that could do the job correctly? Severe, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, I think good. I mean, you know, like Cliff Kingsbury was his first choice, and he's proving to be a guy that's up to task in terms of what he's doing with the Washington Commanders. And I think part of that has to do with Jaden Daniels as well. I think Jaden Daniels, you know, I said it beforehand. I said Jaden Daniels is a special talent. Had him as my number one quarterback in the draft, and I said he would translate immediately to the NFL. So I think part of that has to do with Jaden, but part of that is just, you know, Cliff Kingsbury. He's a guy that he can coach an offense. So
yeah,
if AP identified that guy and that was his number one target, that's the person we had hired, and unfortunately it fell through. So there are some up and coming minds, you know, some young minds in the league that are coming up. There are also some guys that are probably going to lose their job this year, right? If he wants to go the Mike Tomlin route with Mike Tomlin, that they were questioning him, bringing an offensive coordinator for a while. Arthur Smith got fired. They bring in Arthur Smith, right? Like Brian Dable is probably a guy that's going to get fired. Kevin Stefanski,
that's wild.
Probably gonna get fired too. Like as a guy, Kevin Stefanski, he comes from that Kevin O'Connell. You know, we see what Kevin O'Connell was kind of doing. And he spent some time there, you know, as a quarterbacks coach, and then as interim offensive coordinator. Then as an offensive coordinator, did so well that after 1 year as an offensive coordinator, he got the job in Cleveland. So I think that we kind of see some guys that are going to be available that are a little bit more experienced. I think AP probably goes that route, just especially because of the fact that he's such an inexperienced guy at head coach. He brings in a guy that's been a prior head coach, can lend some of that experience to him, and then maybe we can shed some of this weight in terms of, you know, Rob Ryan and Marvin Lewis and Tom Coughlin, because we'll have a guy that kind of already has those experiences on staff.
Yep.
And talking about staff, right? We got Joe Philbin. He's now the offensive line coach, which he's got that history with the offensive line. I think he started with the Colts, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the Colts offensive line coach, and then he was the Cowboys offensive line coach from 2020 to 2022, which, look, if the Cowboys actually have had something solid in the past, it's an offensive line. They've actually had a pretty solid offensive line. So let's see what Joe Philbin can do with this offensive line and just develop them. Because, man, we have some young studs on this offensive line, and that's definitely something I'm excited for moving forward to watch for the rest of the season. Yeah. You know, Severe, you guys know when we break down film, I mean, just in the last couple of weeks with Jordan Meredith, JPJ, and then Dolan Parham coming in against Cincinnati. I mean, both Jordan Meredith and JPJ next to each other, man, look solid as all hell.
And then we're going to be running some more inside zone, because that's Joe Philbin runs more of an inside zone scheme. You know, Lou Getzi is more of an outside zone. So I think that, you know, running some inside zone, I think that may not, but I think that may help Zamir a little bit better. I think that might fit his skill set a little bit better than the outside zone stuff. So we'll see. Yeah, no, I'm with you. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Miami game for just a second, but then we're going to talk a little bit about quarterbacks, because I see a lot of people talking about quarterbacks, but I want to shout out the new people coming through in the chat. Lord Rachitas, I appreciate you coming through. Just another DJ pulling up. I appreciate you. Alec M pulling up in the building.
There you go. That's the idea right there.
John B. I think I already shout out to you, but man, but I'll give you another one, man. John B. Appreciate you coming through. Smacks Burner pulling up as well. Super Omnicron. I appreciate you, man, as well. I think we got more. Sun Goddess pulling through. I appreciate it's good seeing you in the building as well. Wherever you guys are. Hey, and Leo, man,
Man,
yeah,
my
man,
guy,
we got to
what's
get
up,
you
man?
on as well, man. We got to get you on here as well. Maybe later in the week, man. Leo, I'll hit you up. Sorry, he sent me a link with you guys' live yesterday, and I saw it late. But wherever you guys are at, man, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe. I got my guy Rundown on one side. I got the Severe Raider, and I'm 805 Raider with Real Talk Raider Nation. I appreciate everybody in the chat. We already went through Michael Mayer. We broke that down. We broke down just our thoughts on Gardner Minshew. Let's wait for the Miami talk later because I definitely want Severe to get in on this one. Let's talk about the quarterbacks, okay? Everybody's talking about it. Let's touch on it. Everybody in the chat is already talking. I just saw Severe just sit up in his seat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's about that time. You know me.
I don't know.
You know where I'm
I don't know what that means, but Assassin's Creed. If we don't get Shador, I guarantee you we'll draft Manning in 2026. And look,
leave that alone, bro. It's a wrap. Leave that alone.
Yeah,
leave that alone. I know people be wanting to get Arch and all that, bro, but that's 2 years, bro. Stop all that.
But here's the thing, right? It's always here's the thing, and Rundown we talked about just before we jumped on is if you aren't 100% on your guy, right? Like let's say you have a top 3 pick, you better be 100% sold on this guy. That it is you would bet your life on it because you're talking about billion-dollar organizations.
Yep.
And I think I think it was me and Chris when he was out here in Vegas. We're talking about it a little bit, and it's like, look, if I'm sitting in the driver's seat, I could be just a YouTuber giving my opinion, but my opinion don't mean a goddamn thing in an organization for the next 7-8 years isn't leaning on my shoulders,
Right.
And so it's like the Caleb Williams talk, right? The Bears would have been potentially stupid to not get Caleb Williams or even Jaden Daniels, but especially Caleb Williams just because of how much people were talking about him. And so, at the end of the day, you got to pull the trigger if you're 100% sure. But at the same time, if you're not, you also got to start fielding phone calls because it's just how sought after that number 1, number 2 pick is. You could set yourself up for massive potential in the future to come if the guy sitting there is not the guy you truly believe in. And so obviously the talks around Shador Sanders and the talks around Cam Ward. And the one thing that I want to bring up, and I wanted to bring it up on the screen, but unfortunately I wasn't able to find it in time. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on Shador Sanders and what Deion Sanders said in a recent interview. Were you guys able to see that?
Yeah, I saw all that.
Keyshawn Johnson asked him blatantly, "Are you gonna pull the Archie Manning? Are you gonna pull the Archie Manning move to where you are going to have a very large influence as to where your boy goes, where Shador Sanders goes?" And Deion Sanders said, blatant and clear, basically, you bet your ass. I'm not going to do it publicly, but I'm going to do it behind the scenes. You bet your ass that I'm going to do it.
Of course.
And for you guys, because he is going to basically have that much pull, right? He's going to insert that much, attention, and he's also going to have that much oversight in an organization as to where my kid goes. Does that concern you at all? That you're dealing with Deion Sanders that is going to literally say, you're going here because of this, and this. But if all that doesn't work out, would he be quick to start voicing his opinion and now kind of putting it, I guess, against the organization a little bit? Rundown, I think you look like you're ready to say something. Let me know.
Yeah, this is why I say no, because a lot of people keep saying that, and that's all I hear. You know me. When it comes to me, there ain't no question who I think is QB1. I've been saying it for months and months and months. I already think it's Shador. That nobody's gonna talk me into Cam Ward being Cam QB1 and that. I already know what time it is with me personally. But when it comes to that Deion thing, I say no for this simple fact: respect. I think he respects AP enough to say, I'm not gonna do that to you. Now, if it's another coach, he's probably gonna do that. I'm not gonna cap. If it's a coach where he feels like he know more than, he don't really respect him like that.
You should Deion respects him or Shador?
Dion. If
both.
Dion respect him
Dion,
like that.
okay.
Because at the end of the day, like everybody's real concern is Dion himself. It's not really Shador. As much as I see it, some people may say, oh, Shador too flashy, whatever. But it's mainly like, oh, Dion's going to come in here and he's going to undercut the coach. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. But seeing how he talks about AP, bro, he respects AP as a person, like as a man. You feel what I'm saying? So at that point, I'm trusting my son to go to you, bro. I'm going to trust that you're going to do the right things for my son. Even if it don't work out, then it don't work out. But I do feel like he'll be respectful enough to be behind closed doors if something's not working out and be like, hey, maybe this, and this. But he wouldn't do it publicly to AP, I don't think.
Severe, man. What's your thought? I mean, I'll just give you my quick thought on just that one is I don't think Dion, we all know Dion and how he is, right? Like he is going to be outspoken. He's going to speak his mind. If it ain't going the way it is, I guarantee you Dion's going to speak up and say something. Yeah, like he ain't gonna step back from anybody. If it ain't going right and he feels like the ship's being wronged, he's going to speak out and try to make it right his own way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's already turned around a Jackson State program. He's now attempting to turn around a Colorado program. Like his ego was here, and now it's trickling up. Now he's got a son that he's developed into a potentially first round overall pick. I mean, his ego is out the roof, and rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? He's earned it. He's earned the right. But I don't know if anybody is above him speaking his mind. That's just my opinion. But Severe, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. Dion gonna say what Dion got to say. I don't care if his mama was coaching the team. If he didn't like the direction the team was going, he gonna say something about it, right? And it just, but there are some people that can handle that kind of pressure, and there are some people that can't. And I think that Antonio Pierce, I think he's a guy that was a captain on a Super Bowl winning team going against, potentially the greatest team of all time against, who people consider the greatest quarterback of all time. So if there's a person that can handle that kind of pressure and those kind of expectations, I think it's Antonio Pierce. I don't think he's a guy that's backed down from any kind of challenge. So I think he'll embrace that. And I think they have a good enough relationship where Dion won't go like scorched earth. I think he'll make his comments, but I don't think he'll go scorched earth because I do think he trusts Antonio Pierce, as a leader, as a guy that can lead men, that can turn his son into the kind of man that he wants his son to be. And I think he also trusts Tom Brady. And I think that Tom Brady will be influential in the development and the growth of Shador, not only, once again, not only as a player, but as a man and as a leader. So I think those two people being in the building will lend some leniency when it comes to Deion Sanders. That being said, I feel like Cam Ward number one.
I know you about to say something 805, but I want to say, because I keep seeing people say this, bro. The O-line is not that bad. They're bad, but they're not that bad, bro. Where we're looking is like, I've looked around the NFL, bro, and there's some terrible ass O-lines, bro. Like terrible. You feel what I'm saying? Like they're mid, maybe even slightly below mid, but they're not 32. You feel what I'm saying? Like some people like to say like they're the 32nd best offense. Like, no, they're not, bro. No. If the quarterback play was better, in some instances, they would look better. You feel like, in my opinion. So I don't think it's all the O-line. Now you can say who's the OC to develop him, and that go back to 805 question. Can Antonio get a guy, right? But all the guys that he wanted on that list, Zach Robinson, dude in New Orleans, right? He wanted that dude in New Orleans. I think he wanted Cliff Kingsbury. All them dudes is not doing bad. So the list he had was good. It's just he didn't get nobody on his list. You know what I'm saying? He got like the 7th dude on his list. And Severe know what I'm gonna say, bro. Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was gonna be a pick before Lou Getsy, bro. That's all that need to be said. I mean, if that's the case, bro, I think he knows where he want to go. He got to execute though.
I'm with you, and that is one thing, is that our offensive line is actually slowly improving as long as it can stay healthy, right? And if we're talking about our Raiders offensive line, I mean, the only reason why we looked horrible is because against Cincinnati is because 3 offensive linemen dropped in that game.
Thank you.
I mean, Colton Miller goes down. Andres Pete goes down. Cody Whitehair goes down, which I don't like Cody Whitehair, but whatever. But then Dylan Parham comes in.
Parham already got like an Achilles issue going on or something like that.
Dylan Parham wasn't even supposed to be starting. He wasn't even supposed to be playing. I think the Raiders were hoping that he was going to get through without playing that game, and he was an emergency guard at that point. And so our offense line was completely banged up. And so I would not take that last game as to any gauge as to how our good our offensive line is. I actually think if we have a healthy Colton Miller and it's Jordan Meredith, JPJ at center, Dylan Parham, and DJ Glaze on the right side, that's better. Solid. That's actually pretty solid.
I do like
saying it's top 10, but it's pretty solid. I think the strongest point in our offensive line would be the interior at this point. And so, obviously we have a lot of people talking about Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, and I'm with you. I got my pros and cons on both. And I talked about it where he said, look, you better be sold on your guy, because if you're not, then start filling some calls. But because I want to sit a quarterback, I think that you have to sit a quarterback. I think there's no reason for drafting a young quarterback and just throw him into the fire. If you can have him sit for 8 games to possibly a season, I'm all for it. I've been saying it for as long as I've been on YouTube, is that you bring in a veteran that can help him learn a little bit. And I think, run down on your guys' live yesterday, I mentioned, the Green Bay blueprint.
Right.
And the thing is that I understand you don't always have the luxury of having those veteran quarterbacks to repeat that process like Green Bay has.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need a Hall of Fame vet to start the process. You have to start.
Is there a Kirk Cousins available? Is there a Kirk Cousins type quarterback available this year, though, for us to acquire to do that?
So it's not that it's all about who's going to be available. You could trade for somebody next year. You can trade for a veteran that you could bring in that's good enough for 8 games. I'll be honest. That's why I want to see Ritter the next 2-3 games, because if Ritter's has experience in the league, he's gone through a couple systems. If he can be that guy that comes in and plays 8 games and helps a young rookie learn a little bit, then I'd be game for it. The one thing I don't want to do is rush the process. You got Tom Brady that was Tom Brady that was the Patriots quarterback for 18 years or whatever it was. It's a long-term process. It's not instant gratification anymore. Some quarterbacks can do it. Some quarterbacks can. Right? CJ Stroud was brought into a very good situation. But what happens when Nico Collins goes down? What happens when he loses the stud from the Bills that came over? Stephon Diggs went down. Right? All of a sudden, that receiver core all of a sudden starts to see injuries. And what happens? He starts to decline a little bit because he just doesn't have the talent around him. You want to be able to build, and you want to be able to allow them to establish a sense of confidence going in. Let them see the speed of the game. I want a quarterback to be good for the next 12 to 15 years. I could care less if he's good year 1. And so I'm okay with him sitting. That's my biggest thing.
So say we don't give up any capital, right? Like say that's not what they want to do. And they're like, okay, we're gonna go into the free agent market. The best name I'm seeing, and Sam Darnold. You can say Sam Darnold, but even he didn't came back to down to earth. Like eventually, like he didn't got right back to being Sam Darnold. You want Jameis Winston? For a year, he'd be funny. Like he give him some funny clips for the year.
He'd be eating W's.
Yeah. He gonna give you some funny shit for that year, but
for sure.
Or Jacoby Brissett. You take Jacoby Brissett and let that rock for you. Know what you're gonna get with Brissett for sure. But that's up to what you want to do. You know what I mean? If you took those for a year, those are likely options. But other than those 3, like that's the only names that I'm seeing.
But that kind of remains to be seen, right? Because so many roster moves happen, and so. But at the end of the day, kind of what I'm getting at is I I'm not completely, and again, I wait until maybe around half of the season of the college season to really start watching the quarterbacks, because you have so many quarterbacks that change in the transfer portal nowadays that they need to kind of get up in the system. They need to learn it. They need to get chemistry with the receivers, all that stuff. But in my opinion, I think Cam Ward has the highest ceiling. I think Shedeur Sanders, yeah, he's probably the most NFL ready quarterback today.
Exactly.
But I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is 100% the reason why why Colorado is winning. Look at the Texas Tech game. Right? He's a big part of it. But look at the Texas Tech game. They scored on 3 wide receiver screens. And then all of a sudden goes, 4 touchdowns and 300 yards. It's like, yeah, well, 150 of those yards were on wide receiver screens. 3 of those touchdowns were wide receiver screens to win the game towards the tail end. Now, I haven't seen like his first 5-6 games, so I'm going to go back and watch it. But that's my thing, is that when I saw him, it looked like he wanted to be a little more athletic than I think he is. Him trying to scramble around, buy time, and then bang, he gets sacked against a Texas Tech defense that I don't think is one of the top defenses, in the league. I think he wants to be a little more athletic than I think he is. Cam Ward, I think his ceiling is extremely high. He's very athletic. He's got the arm strength to throw any ball out there. But he definitely is a quarterback that needs to sit and learn for at least a season.
100%.
And I'm okay with
it.
100%.
I'm gonna let Severe go, because Cam is Severe's guy. So I'm gonna let Cam go off on that one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let go off on that one.
It's like it's 1A, 1B. It's kind of pick your flavor type of situation. I think Shedeur is a more pro-ready guy. I think he's a little bit of a quicker processor. A little bit of a like higher IQ guy right now, but I think he has physical limitations, and I think that those physical limitations could keep him from ever being like an elite guy. I think he could be like a very good NFL quarterback, but like will he ever be truly elite? That's the kind of question with Shedeur. Whereas Cam Ward has all of those physical tools. He has the arm and the mentality to be a gunslinger, but you kind of worry about sometimes his decision making and things of that nature. But I think somebody I wish I knew who brought it up on the live last night. I did with Pharaoh on the 50/50 show. Shout out, make sure you check it out. But guy said like this is kind of like the previous draft, right? The draft that had Tua and that had Justin Herbert, and like Shedeur is more of a Tua type player, and Cam Ward is more of a Justin Herbert-ish, where he's like, what, you have some of those question marks, like Justin Herbert. He also had like a little bit of but the difference is Justin Herbert had his last year, he was kind of a down year for him. So if he would have came out the year prior, Justin Herbert might have been the #1 overall pick. But yeah, he came back to school, had a little bit of a down year, so people were a little bit down on him. So it's a situation like that where one guy has all the physical tools, the other guy has he's more of the point guard, distributor, high IQ type guy. Is this necessarily going to be the same situation where Justin Herbert is clearly the better player, and in Justin Herbert, that's the Cam Ward guy? You don't know. But I think both guys will be good pros. It's just that, will either of them be the MVP level type quarterback that you want?
Well, go ahead.
One concern that I do have, and here's pros and cons, right? The one concern I have of Cam Ward is, and shout out to everybody else that's naming other quarterbacks, because I definitely want to talk about some other quarterbacks. There's definitely one quarterback that I kind of got my eye on, given the fact that I like to sit a quarterback his rookie year for at least 1 year. But we'll get into that for a second. But one of the concerns I have of Cam Ward is, man, when I watch Cam Ward play, he almost looks emotionless, like he doesn't care. Like that's one thing that I do have a concern of. He may throw an interception, they might go 3 and out, something happens, and what does he do? He kind of walks to the sideline, he sits, grabs the iPad, and just chills. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, some might like the composure, some might like the fact that he is just cool, calm, and collect a little bit, but it almost feels like when things are going bad, he just kind of goes to the bench. And again, I'm not saying it's a big concern, but definitely something that I have in my mind. On the flip side, I do think Shedeur Sanders has that leadership in him. I think that he can be that guy that goes to the sideline. And if things aren't going well, he's going to have that voice to be like, all right, let's get our shit together. He can reach out to the guys on the offense and kind of get everybody in line. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if he can kind of get that Jordan Travis, Hunter, right? Travis Hunter. If he can keep that Travis Hunter kid, obviously Dion does it, but if he can keep that Travis Hunter kid in line, watch that Texas Tech game and Travis Hunter kind of throws a temper tantrum because it's a bad ball. He goes in and he says, hey, calm it down. We'll get on the same page. Let's make this work. So I do like the leadership out of Shedeur Sanders, and that's definitely something you want to see out of a quarterback. And so I do like that out of him. You know what I'm saying? I do think that he has that characteristic, that trait to him. Where I think I do worry about Cam Ward because I just don't see it. He looks very just almost. As I'm watching him play, I was trying to think of the word. I'm like almost uninterested. A little bit.
I don't know if that's a new thing though, because at Washington State he didn't really look all like that. He wasn't like as calm and whatever cool as he was at Washington State. Maybe because the talent was different. He knew he had to do a little bit more. But speaking of Washington State, that's like the exact thing of what scares me with Cam Ward, because what he's doing at Miami, he was doing at Washington State. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's not like he came here and all of a sudden like he cleaned that up. Like I've multiple years of him doing the same thing, like throwing across your body. You know what I mean? Throwing into double, triple coverage. Like, dog, we have to get rid of that, because you get into the league, you start doing that, your interception total will creep up immensely, right? Like you looking at Anthony Richardson. If you're not accurate and you throwing into all this coverage, bro, like you'll be 40% quick in the NFL, bro. Like,
and I'll be honest, right? Cam Ward came over in the transfer portal. So he was at Washington State. Now he's over at Miami. I mean, this could literally be in his mind just business move. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he could, you don't have the time of the 3 years of building through a system, and you kind of have that camaraderie. You have that connection with guys. We all know what it's like playing football. It's like playing ball, right? When you play with your boys all the way from youth football all the way up into high school, and you have that chemistry where you guys connect and you guys gel. Cam Ward came over with a business decision, and this is his pathway to the NFL. So maybe he's treating it that way. Again,
I mean, he got Restrepo. Him and Restrepo got some nice little chemistry together. They be doing some shit every time I watch them. But to your point, Severe, I mean, I think I brought it up last time. Y'all, I was on here with y'all. Just he's going to need seasoning, bro. Remember, the man was running wing T in high school for 4 years. All right. At the end of the day, bro, how much quarterbacking are you doing in the wing T? You're not doing that much. You know what I mean? Where you're doing all that. So it's like just the development part of it. You know what I mean? Where versus you got a guy where everybody know who he's training with his whole life. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I just think you're correct with Cam, where the ceiling is higher. You could see something like, I'm not saying he's Josh Allen, but you can see something like Josh Allen, where it's like you give him a year, let him season. You know what I mean? And that ceiling, now all of a sudden you seeing every tool in that box. Where I think Shedeur is kind of, I'm not saying he's this, but I do think like Joe Burrow though. Like honestly, because Joe Burrow don't have no crazy athletic ability. He's athletic as a motherfucker, but I'm not saying he's crazy athletic. But the thing that gets Joe and that really carries Joe is his accuracy, right? His anticipation, the way he throws the ball. Joe got definitely a stronger arm than Shedeur, but still, I think he can be on that little trajectory though.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. The thing I like about Cam is that we talk about him running a wing T, right? And then he goes to Washington State and he's under Jack Dickert and he's running like a spread situation there. And then he goes to Miami with Cristobal and he's running a different system there. And he took a Miami team that was 7-6 last year, right? Like not a good team. And turned them into, at one point they were a national championship contender until they just dropped his previous game. But like, so we've seen him like thrive in different circumstances. Shedeur is like, we've seen him thrive under Dion, like, what is that going to look like when Deion isn't there? And it could
Well,
be a situation where, like, playing with anybody that's played for or under their dad on any kind of youth team.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sometimes that could be a tough. It could be a tough situation, right? It
Yeah.
could be tough because, like,
It's
it's different. But could that be a situation that that kind of he thrived under, where where most people wouldn't? But could he also be dependent on that kind of situation as well for success? We haven't seen him outside of that environment.
Let me ask you guys. I know Deion kind of moved a lot of his players as well as some of his staff. Do you know if he pulled over the offensive coordinator from Jackson State over to?
So Sean Lewis was the Sean Lewis was the OC. He took the job at San Diego State. So this year, Pat Shurmur is offensive coordinator. So last year,
last year he didn't come with prime. This is the thing. Shador has had like 3 different OCs in like 3 years. Because at Jackson State, he had a different OC. Then he had an OC last year. Now he has Pat Shurmur this year. So it's 3 different Lewis. Or Sean Lewis.
Yeah, Sean Lewis 2 years. I want to say, because Sean Lewis. I thought Sean Lewis came over with them.
I didn't think so.
So
I thought he had something else.
That was the reason why I say that is because again, I try to weigh the pros and cons and real quick. Isaiah Randolph, you said before, I think you said I'm overreacting on kind of Cam Moore just going to the sideline, and look, I could be, you know what I'm saying, but these are the things that I just evaluate. I look at body language, and for some of you guys don't know, and again, I'm not saying I know, like, I'm end all be all, but like, I played the game for 15 years. I coached it for 23 years, in California and in Texas. And so, part of what I do is you got to evaluate body language a little bit, especially when you're down, when you're losing. I want to see what your body language looks like. And if your body language is, I just go to the sideline and I just grab that iPad and I'm not trying to rile up my team and really be that leader. Right. It catches my eye. Whereas I think Shador Sanders does a very good job of it, just of what I've seen in the last few games.
And I'm gonna send these clips to you. Severe already know, but I encourage every Raider fan, even if you don't really like him, to go watch Colorado's behind the scenes stuff, right? Like, because his brother records the games, and you get in depth feel, bro. When you listen to Shador talk in the huddle, I'm like, that's how I want my quarterback to sound. You feel what I'm saying? He's over here orchestrating what routes he wants to run in the huddle. Some dude, he's all right, I need somebody to run this on the backside. Receiver come up to him. Hey, my ankle's messed up. Hey, motherfucker, I didn't ask you if your ankle's messed up. Can you run this go route or not? One of the two, bro. If you can't, give me somebody else who can do it. That's what I want. I don't want none of that. Oh, it's okay, buddy. No. Get up out the way then. Get somebody else, bro. Because we got to win these games. So I love his leadership style 100%. But with Cam just got that. If you like your quarterback cool with the calm and demeanor, like that it just depends your flavor, honestly.
Yeah.
And the reason why I ask,
I think that's kind of how Joe is, though. We talking about Joe Burrow, like they call him Joe Cool. Like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe got that.
I agree.
When it's time to turn up.
Yeah. Joe gonna show you now. Yeah.
He can do it, but for the most time, like I'm about my business. Okay, okay, man. Let me see what I did wrong. Like, we can get this fixed. So and I think that like, I don't want to say that stuff is produced, but yeah, you gotta know, like, if you ever dudes behave a little different when that camera on. You mic'd up, I
don't know though. Hey, because Severe did say, not Severe, but 805, you did say, he do be calm. But when that camera got on him in that one game and he let it slip, he let the real Cam slip. I said, oh, there it is. That's what you really are. All right, bro. You don't like the show.
I'm just, you just bring up Joe Burrow. I'm just, I'm all about Jamar Chase. He won me my fantasy. He won my fantasy last week, so I can't complain about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Bengals, bro, I think we need to let this T. Higgins thing die. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah.
I don't want T. Higgins. I do not want T. They talking about he want $30 million a year.
Yeah,
I'm straight.
T. Higgins, but I don't want him at that price tag though.
Hell no.
I'd rather just draft a guy.
For him to play 8 games, I'm straight.
Here's my thing, and just to kind of real quick go back to the point I was trying to talk about, asking about the offensive coordinators, was also the thing that I like about Cam is, again, weighing the pros and cons, is Cam's been through, he's the Washington State offensive program, and now he switched over to Miami, learning a completely different system with completely different receivers, and he's producing with the numbers that he has, right?
Right.
Shedeur Sanders went from Colorado or went from Jackson State, and now you got Travis Hunter coming with them over to Colorado State, and he's got someone that has chemistry. He's got someone that he already knows, whereas Cam Ward is learning something completely new with a whole new set of talent, and he's instantly able to produce the numbers that he's doing. And so I like it. I like the fact that he's shown that he can adapt to a new system, and he can kind of gain that chemistry. Again, much easier in college than it is in the NFL. I'm aware of that. But just based on what we can see and evaluate, I do like the fact that I feel like Cam might be able to transition very well to the NFL. Not saying Shedeur can't. I'm just saying if you look at who, in my opinion, who has the higher ceiling, in my opinion, I think it's Cam Ward. But
let me ask you this question, 805. Severe tells me this, and I want to get Severe's take before he got to go because I know he got to go soon. But right, Jackson Dart. A lot of people talk about Jackson Dart on who is the QB3 really realistically, because we all 1, 2, you know what I mean? Most of us like Shedeur, Cam. A lot of us don't talk about a third or a fourth, right? So like, who would be the third or fourth?
You guys take it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean Jackson Dart is my QB3. Him and Rourke are kind of battling out. Like I said, I've never been a fan of Beck. I said before the year I wasn't a fan. When Carson Beck was the number 1 quarterback and Quentin Ewers was the number 2 quarterback, I said I don't like neither one of those dudes. I said it straight up. I don't like neither one of these dudes. People
you saw his draft comparison. They compared him to Daniel Jones. I said, oh, how disrespectful.
I didn't like neither one of them. I didn't like neither one. Now Jackson Dart wasn't on my radar until I started, really watching him play this year. He's a guy. He went to SC. I wasn't a fan of him at SC. But this year he's impressing me. Miro was a guy that I think Miro has. There's a lot of tools there, but I don't know if
quarterback though. Like I just don't trust him. You feel what I'm saying?
I don't know if he'll ever develop. So it's been Dart for me. Rourke is a guy I've been impressed with as well. So those are kind of my 3 and 4. But those guys are kind of neck and neck too. I mean, I know a lot of people worry about Jackson Dart because of the system and offense he's in. Right. Lane Kiffin runs kind of a little bit of a gimmicky system, but that dude was putting up video game numbers. He's asked to throw the ball a lot. He's asked to be a leader of that team, and basically, like that team wins and loses strictly on his arm. Like if he ain't got it going, they ain't winning. So
that is
so that's
fact.
why.
That is a fact.
So
I like his size. He got the prototypical size. You know what I mean?
And he's a good athlete too. And he's not afraid to run. He's a tough guy. So I mean, that's kind of my guy. But Rourke is a guy. One thing I'll say about Rourke is that
I ain't watched him like that.
I don't mess with Canadians, bro. I don't mess. Only Canadian I'm a fan of is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. If you're a Canadian, I ain't rocking with you. I'm sorry. Any Canadians in chat, if you from Canada, I'm not rocking with you. Y'all bacon is weird. Y'all put gravy on French fries. I cannot rock with y'all. I'm sorry.
The accent be throwing me off. I don't know, man. I just can't get it in. Yeah. But look, I know you don't like him, Severe, but I don't know, bro. I just take notice at that Dylan Gabriel, bro. I know he's a little small. I know I see that, but every time I watch him, bro, he be putting the ball in some nice places, man. He got nice placement on his passes. I give him that. I don't like his size. I say that. I definitely don't like the size, but I like what he's doing with that team. I ain't watched that Indiana dude too much because the Big Ten sucks. So it's like, how much am I really gonna look at the Big Ten and taking into account what I'm seeing when I know like a majority of these teams in that conference are ass? You know what I mean? Like we even look at Penn State. Penn State's not even all that good. I think Penn State would lose to Georgia right now, and I don't even like Carson Beck. Yeah, but I think Dylan Gabriel maybe. I know people talk about what is it, Drew Aller or Allar? How you say that?
It's Aller.
Aller.
I think he should stay another year, bro.
I think that's who I can see Tom Telesco fall in love with that dude. Like big 6'5" guy, strong arm. He got I can see Tom Telesco like that's my guy right there.
Dog.
Well, that's what we kind of thought. That's what we thought of. What's the kid over the Drake, the kid from the Patriots.
Drake May.
Drake May. Like, I mean, he was prototypical Herbert.
You can see it with Drake, though. You can see it. He had that on. You know what I mean? So
Drew Aller is a guy that I am now going to start paying attention to. I watched his game. I watched his game last week. He's a guy that I'm very interested in. because again, I take the stance of let a rookie sit, let a rookie develop, let a rookie learn on the sideline. And so that's my biggest thing is Drew Eller is the guy that I'm very interested to watch the rest of the season as we kind of get into deeper into the season. I think the college playoffs are going to be great to watch because now you're going to see a lot of these quarterbacks play against some top tier competition. And so I think that's one of the most exciting things that college football could have done is create that 12 team college playoff.
And I see people say Dylan Gabriel play in the Big Ten, but I've seen Dylan Gabriel play people. Like he's played Ohio State already and things like so. It's like it's different. You know what I mean? I don't know who Indiana has played on the schedule. But real quick, how come nobody talk about Quinn Ewers no more? No, everybody's off that now. Like that's over.
I tell you.
So
they don't talk about
people
either. Neither one of us.
Do a lot of people are a lot of people concerned about the injuries with Ewers?
I think that's what it is. Issue, one of those, you know, and he ain't really lit the world on fire like that. I mean, Texas is Texas is the number 2 ranked team in the country, but I mean, nobody's talking like it's Quinn Ewers that's doing it. Like nobody's saying it like that. So I don't know.
Like even Texas fans want to see Arch. Like they want to see Arch. They're like, can we get Quinn Ewers? Like, we want to see Arch. We want to get Arch in there. So
I mean,
hey, who just said that? Hey, I already know what you got to do, man. Do your thing, bro.
Yeah, hey, Severe, man, I appreciate you. Hey, everybody, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, go to Severe's channel if you watch on one of ours. Go to Severe's channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We try to do this every Tuesday, Wednesday night, especially when games go on. We review film Tuesday night, so make sure you guys check in as well. But man, Severe, I appreciate you sticking with us, man. Have a good night, but us some rundown. We're gonna keep rolling for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this. Bam. All right. So, real quick, we got a bunch of people. Isaiah saying Quinn ain't it. We got
people say that
Texas overrated. So is Sewers. Chat. I apologize. We've had a lot of talk going on. I'm trying to make sure I get to you guys. I try to at least bring you up on the screen. Okay, that's what I try to do. We may not be able to call out everybody's chats or comments, but if you do got a question for us, hit that hashtag Raiders and then give me the question. So just catch my eye as we rock through this. But Alec Gaming saying Drew Aller is a very good dude. I hope so. I like just kind of what he brings a little bit, but a lot of people are saying again, kind of bring back up some of the comments like Quinn ain't it. Let's see, Alec M. Ewers going to be a mid-round quarterback. So that's the thing is, let's say we have a top 5.
Right.
Let's say we have a top 5, and obviously we have nothing but Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders fans. Like everybody wants those guys. But are we 100% sold that they're it? That they are going to be the ones that are going to change this entire franchise around? That's my biggest question is, I think Cam Ward's ceiling is really high, but one thing that we have to make sure we understand is that it's not just the quarterback, it's the pieces you surround the quarterback with. Everybody was talking crap about just how bad our offense was for, the beginning half of the season, but let's be honest. We had injuries. Devonta Adams gone, Colton Miller, coming off an injury, JPJ not starting the first 3-4 games, Michael Mayer all of a sudden disappearing. All of a sudden now Gardner Minshew has 2 5'9", 5'10" receivers to throw to, nothing but practice squad receivers or tight ends to throw to. I mean, one of the best examples is look at Patrick Mahomes. If you just look at Patrick Mahomes' stats the first half of the season, he looks like a bottom tier quarterback.
100%.
But that defense is carrying him, and he's got Andy Reid as a play caller. Look at Matthew Stafford. I believe that Rams offense, when Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp went down, that Rams offense scored 2 first half touchdowns in like 7 games. And they got McVay over there on the sideline, one of the best offensive minds in the league. It's not about it's about who your quarterback is, but it's also about who you surround him with. Look at what CJ Stroud's going through. He's struggling when Nico Collins goes down, when Stephon Diggs goes down. So that's my biggest thing is it's not just about the quarterback, but it's also about who do you surround him with. And let's say we are top 5 or maybe 6 or 7. That is the question. Who is that? Who's that next quarterback? And do you stick with them? So you got Carson Beck. What's your take on Beck? Because I haven't watched too much of Georgia. What's your take on Beck so far?
So
because he once was pretty highly touted, but it feels like it's
because it's very easy to see without Bowers and without McConkey, he's not the same guy, right? Like he doesn't trust his weaponry right now. You can tell. And the things that kind of made him that preseason guy that everybody was talking about, he's regressed in. Like the accuracy a little bit's not there. You're going to see some games where it's like his main thing is accuracy, but then there are games where he's off, right? Like he's air mailing, he's too short, he's things like that. Mm-hmm. And when your main thing is accuracy, and when you're off that day, well, pretty much the whole thing is off. It don't look all that great. He's a cool athlete, but he's not a great athlete. He's had turnovers this year. He's just not taking care of the ball, and he's really not. He's not moving at a clip where everybody thought he would. So this year, I think definitely it showed the limitations where I think now you could say his weapons kind of will make him wherever he goes, right? Instead of him making the weapons.
Yeah. No, so that's tough. I mean, again, if you lose a guy like Brock Bowers, that hurts you. That hurts you without question.
100%.
And so, I mean, do you think? Let's say we drop out of, let's say we're 6, 7, 8, and both those teams are gone. In chat, let me know, and I'm gonna look for you guys' comments. If we're picking 6 or 7, Cam Ward's off the board, Shadur Sanders off the board. Do we trade back? Do we trade back and stockpile picks?
I think at that point, you definitely not too far, right? But at that point, you got to say, like, all right, bro, we're going to have to build this roster and just draft somebody we think is good enough at this position where we're at right here. Maybe it'd be the second round at that point. Because you got to understand, right? Like you've been saying this whole time, if it's the first round and you do not absolutely 100% think this dude can be the franchise, don't do it. It don't make no sense. Don't do it. Then we said it before the stream. Then you're the Giants and Daniel Jones. You don't do that, bro. Just if you don't feel 100%, you might as well trade back, dude. And get some more picks, get some more players, and then we'll try again after that.
And Alec M here, you say quarterback selection is still not really an exact science, but character and mental toughness matter too a lot. Now, 100%. I agree. There isn't an exact science, because if it was an exact science, all these people that put in hundreds of millions of dollars into this position, they'd figure it out, right? I think
exactly.
I'll be honest, man. What's really tough, and this might throw us into another conversation, but I said this in the very early beginnings of the draft, is when everybody said Caleb Williams is going to be the guy. My biggest comment was, it depends on where he goes, because I'll tell you right now, the Bears have been trashed for a reason for a long time. Some organizations just stay bad, and our Raiders can be put almost in that bucket, because we're bad for a reason, because we just make bad decisions continuously. A lot of people hated the fact that we didn't get CJ Stroud, and I get it. CJ Stroud was a very good talent. I wasn't mad because we trade up, we give up a bunch of draft capital, and then Josh McDaniels just ruins his career, or at least the beginning of his career. It's all about where you're drafted into, and some organizations just stay bad because we make 100%. Bad decisions. Look at what's happening now. All of a sudden, the Bears just fired Waldron, their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and that's looking terrible. That's looking terrible. I think everything you said plays into one another. And this is where AP comes into the factor as well. The coaching comes into the factor as well, because my uncle's a Bears fan, right? I continuously said before they got Caleb, It does not make sense to draft this quarterback and give this head coach that opportunity to coach with this quarterback. I think if you're going to start over at the quarterback, you got to start over at the head coach as well, right? The difference here is AP don't got no damn Justin Fields where everybody could kind of talk themselves into like, oh, this is the guy, right? Like maybe this is the guy. If he had more of this, more of that, then we'd be better. AP don't have that, right? So you can clearly see like, oh yeah, this is terrible. But with Eberflus, it's like, bro, you had Justin Fields, and if you would have gave him this, and that, maybe it could have worked out differently. But now they gave Caleb all the weaponry that they could have, right? But then now you see he's not the right coach. So now you about to have your rookie quarterback in his second scheme, second head coach in 2 years. You feel what I'm saying? Like now that's gonna be a problem. Now maybe the next one will be good, but we already got the turnstile going on, bro. There ain't no continuity in here already. Kind of my concern a little bit is like I want continuity. So getting AP, I think, would be the best thing. But it's like, say we get a new coach, right? You draft Shedeur, but that new coach is ass. So then what are we gonna do at that point? You know what I mean? Now we're stuck with the rookie, and now we got to find a coach. So I don't know.
So Isaiah's got. I'd maybe draft Milroe. So what's your take on Milroe? I haven't watched a lot of Alabama this year. Obviously, a lot of people were pretty high on Milroe in the early stages of college football, and now it doesn't look like his name is kind of thrown in the mix too much. He said Isaiah. I'm assuming you're saying that you draft him if we did drop back in the draft a little bit, maybe in that 7, 8, or even trade back a little bit. But rundown, what's your thoughts on Milroe? What's your take on him? And chat, let me know too. I'm gonna try to bring up you guys' comments as well.
He's not there as a passer. He's not there as a passer. People are gonna try to tell you like you can Lamar Jackson him. Nobody's Lamar Jackson. So don't even let nobody talk you into that. Nobody will ever replicate what I'm seeing.
That's a high bar.
You feel in Baltimore, like I can't say it. But even in college, right? I go back to Lamar's tape in college. Lamar had a better arm. I'm not gonna say he has a stronger arm, but I'm talking about just pure accuracy quarterback play. Lamar was a little bit better in college. I'm not saying he's all that better. He's a little bit better. So you can't really compare him like that to Lamar. I think he has a great deep ball. He has probably one of the better deep balls in the classes. I'll say that. When he throws that shit deep, he has one of the better arms and one of the strongest arms in the classes for sure. It's strong. You could probably weigh it against Cam's if you want to say that, just off pure velocity and how it comes off of his hand. It's probably a little stronger than Cam's. But you know, I don't think as quarterback play, he's gonna come into the league. You're gonna have to really, really work with him if you draft him. Like really. And you taking him with the fact of knowing like it's gonna take a minute. Like he's gonna throw interceptions. He's not gonna look good at times throwing the ball. Running the ball, we can do that. But obviously, what he did against LSU, you are probably not gonna see in the NFL, right? You're probably not gonna see in the NFL. Not too many Cam Newtons, Lamar Jacksons running around. You might get some here and there, but it's not gonna happen all the time like that, bro. So
I mean, he's saying Milroe ain't it running quarterback. We need a pass first QB. Jason Marshall, you're saying Milroe needs one more year in college.
He got a season, bro. He got a season.
Does he have one more year? What year is he?
I thought he was a senior. He might be a junior. He might be a junior.
Is he?
Thought he was. Let me look.
I mean, okay, I looked that up. He says he needs one more year in college. I mean, honestly, it almost feels like, again, I'm a Florida fan, so I watched Anthony Richardson his last year at Florida consistently. And I'll tell you right now, I knew that Anthony Richardson was going to be he was not going to be a good quarterback. He had to stay one more year at Florida. He had to. I mean, now
he didn't have that many starts under his belt, man. Like
nothing. And I'll tell you right now, his agent played it perfecly because he got him picked. What was it, 4th?
Yeah.
Of the NFL draft. So his agent played it perfectly. But B. Wayne.
Oh yeah, Milroe's a redshirt junior, by the way. So he has another year if he wants to go back. Which now that I know that, I definitely think he should go back. Because if he goes back next year, he won't be ahead of Arch. No way, right? But if he shows more as a passer, he'll be picked way higher than he's going to be picked this year.
Got it. Because Desert Raider he's obviously saying no. Billy D, appreciate you pulling through, man. He's saying
now that I know that, now that I know he can go back one more year, bro, I definitely agree. He should definitely go back one more year.
Let's see. SoCal Sal, you're saying Milroe's athletic, no touch on his throws.
Yep.
Let's see. Alec M. Milroe's a good character guy, but needs more development skills-wise for sure. So it looks like, let's see, I could see him being like Justin Fields. Got to develop him, though. Yeah. I mean, that's –
and even Justin Fields ain't no finished product where you looking like, I can be okay with that. You know what I mean?
Milroe makes a damn good running back.
Hey, now that running ability is something else, man. It is. If he ever figures it out and gets the arm where the legs are, oh yeah, it's rap. But that's God didn't make them all to be, everybody to have every skill set. That's just what it is.
Yeah, Ultimate Raider fan, Turf man, what's going on?
Turf, what up, man?
I see you in the building, man. Oh shoot, I mean, hey, rundown. Do you want to see Turf can pull up if he wants to?
Oh yeah,
I know what he's doing.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, if he come up in here, man, I definitely would like to talk some things with him because he has some funny things to say about Shador and them.
All right, Turf, I'm gonna send you the link real quick. If you want to pull in, man, just let me know. I'll pull you up here. Let me see. Bam. Turf, I just sent it to you, man. Just let me know.
Hey, shout out Jeff as well, man. Your show's coming on a bit, man. I'm gonna check that out, bro. Guaranteed.
Which one's that?
My guy, Raider Boosters, man.
NE Raider Boosters, yeah. I appreciate you coming through, man. 100%. Make sure you guys.
Check the show out,
that's
man.
the one
thing.
Man.
He's fire.
That's the one thing, man. Is just make sure we all support each other because at the end of the day, I mean, and when you support it, that's cool. But if you agree or disagree, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
exactly.
We all just got our opinions. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, we all just want to win. I mean, I guarantee you, if we were sitting here 7 and something, you know what I mean, or whatever the case, we probably wouldn't even be bickering about nothing. We probably just be like, hey, we're winning games. How can we keep winning? You know what I mean? What do we need to do? Blah blah blah. Like, but we don't have that type of synergy right now. We all just want to see us win games in different ways.
Yeah, man. So we just I know we just talked about it. I kind of walked away, but rundown. Let me know. Kenny Romero says thoughts on Ole Miss, Jackson Dart. I know you guys just talked about it, but give your quick take on Jackson Dart. I want to know too, because I'll tell you right now, like the one thing that I struggle with is kind of that's the spread type of offense quarterbacks, right? I mean, that it doesn't always translate over. And I'll be honest with you, one of my biggest things was, and everybody can hate it, and I posted a video on my channel. Before the draft because I had to get it in.
Right.
And I said that if Bo Nix is drafted by Sean Payton, I think Sean Payton can make him a successful quarterback. I know a lot of people hated on him.
Yeah.
Well, you put together what Bo Nix did in college, right? He was the second. He threw for the second most yards in college behind Michael Penix. And everybody knocked him on his deep ball. Okay, maybe his deep ball wasn't the most accurate thing in the world. That's fine, but there's no way that you throw for the second most yards in college, and everybody calls you the dump off king. The reason why you throw for that many yards is because your ball placement is elite, and that's what I saw out of Bo Nix. It wasn't even in just the under 10-yard throws. It was also in the intermediate throws, the 20 to 30-yard throws, where his ball placement allowed his receivers to catch and run. One of the things that with a quarterback that you could either be, it's the difference between you being a bottom 20 quarterback versus a top 10 quarterback is your ball placement.
It definitely is.
If you have accurate and elite ball placement, that could take you places because if you're throwing to elite receivers or good receivers that can catch and run, then the moment you put a ball on the back shoulder when they're trying to go forward and you stop their momentum, NFL defenses are way too fast, way too quick. They're going to close on you, and that's the difference between a 10-yard throw and a 25-yard gain. And so the one thing that I saw to Bo Nix is that his ball placement was elite. Now, everybody also talked about, he went from Auburn to Oregon, and he had those comments that he couldn't handle the heat. Okay.
Yeah. Does he love football like that? Is he tough, mentally tough, things like that?
A big shout to my guy, my 2 cents. Okay, Nix doesn't throw dimes. All right, I'm with you.
See, me, I was never a fan of Bo Nix.
My 2 cents.
I'm never a fan of Bo Nix going in. So him doing what he's doing right now is pretty good. But I do think what we're seeing, you know what I always did say though? I did always say he doesn't have the highest ceiling, right? Like that's what I always said about Bo Nix. Like where it's like what you see him do this year, I don't think it's gonna get exponentially better from what we're seeing him doing right now.
I think let's do this. I think Bo Nix also I think he has a high ceiling because just the amount of games that he started, the amount of experience that he has, you put him in a good system with some talent around him, like any quarterback needs.
Right.
But at the same time, kind of going back to his comments that he made, look, like we all got to understand, he was probably a 19-year-old quarterback at the time. Just because you can handle the SEC does not mean you're going to be all of a sudden a stud quarterback. How many SEC quarterbacks have all of a sudden become absolute studs? Yeah. I mean, that I don't put so much merit on the fact that Bo Nix just couldn't handle the SEC. No, maybe he transferred out for whatever reason.
Yeah, college don't really matter to me, bro, because they're kids, like you said, like they're, you know what I mean? They barely figuring stuff out, figuring what's going on. So that don't really matter to me. Real quick, everything you said about the ball placement and accuracy is a perfect thing of why I like Shedeur so much, because we have guys that are tremendous after the catch, right? Like, I mean, you look at Bowers, you look at Jacoby. I like Jacoby after the catch. If we can start giving Trey Tucker a little bit of some things after the catch, that'd be nice. But we have a lot of guys that, like, where if you give them the ball in space and they can run, make something happen, even Michael Mayer, they're going to make something happen. They're going to break some tackles. And I think right now for the guys that we have, I think Shedeur will get them that in the spots that they need. But going back to your boy's comment about Jackson Dart, I got to watch a little bit more. That's Severe's guy, his QB3 right now. I don't know. I got him like, I still don't know who I want to put at 3 right now. I'm still weighing options because I like Dylan Gabriel. I really do. Just because I've seen him play Ohio State and all these teams, and I'm like, he's playing good against Ohio State. And since Ohio State's played Oregon, they whooped everybody else's ass since then. So I'm like, okay, I like that part of it. When the playoffs come, definitely we're gonna have to see with that. But Dart got that size, bro. He's got the prototypical size. His arm is nice. It's just like you said, the scheme, bro, the system. How much can we trust him coming out of Lane Kiffin's system?
Yeah, and I'm with you. And Jason Marsh, Nix doesn't have to be the guy to do it all for the team. He has a great defense. I 100% agree. And I'll tell you right now, that's a perfect recipe for a rookie to come in and be able to know that not everything is on his shoulders. So it's going to allow him to learn. It's going to allow him to kind of have that sense of, I don't need to do everything. So it's actually a great setup for him. And so with that being said, we got another guy in the building. Yeah, Turf. What's up, my guy?
What up? Let me get my mic. What's going on?
Turf was so excited to come on. He forgot to bring the mic over. I like it.
My bad. Yes, sir.
What up, Unc?
What's cracking?
Everybody in the chat, make sure that you guys say what's up to Turf. Not only do you say what's up to Turf, make sure you check in, hit the like button, but make sure go to Turf's channel, man. Ultimate Raider Fan 32, right? 32?
Yes, 32? Sir. Ultimate Raider Fan 32. Appreciate you, 805.
Yeah, man. Everybody in chat, make sure you guys go over to Turf, Ultimate Raider Fan 32. Make sure, because I'll tell you right now, man, Turf travels. You go to the games, you all over the place, man. You know, got to love the diehards out here, 100%. And everybody. So, Sacktown Raider Mike always saying what's up to Turf UEP, checking in with Turf as well, man. It's always good seeing you.
Appreciate y'all, man. Absolutely.
We're gonna have to catch up Turf on the conversation because we have to say
For
I
sure.
have to say my 2 cents. Saying what's up to Turf as well.
Hey, Turf, man, you know what we talking, bro. We talking quarterbacks now. Of
Oh,
course,
well,
I'm gonna
well,
let
well,
we're
before
gonna
we
let
get
you
to
go
these
off on
quarterbacks,
Shador,
hold on.
bro. But
Yeah.
who else do you
Well-
like as far as like outside of Shador and Cam?
But wait, before that, Turf, give me before we get we'll talk about quarterbacks real quick, but let me know. Turf, let me know what are your thoughts on starting Gardner Minshew?
I think it honestly, you know what I think it smells? It smells like we're going for number 1. I mean, that's really what it smells like.
But if we're going for number 1, does that mean that AP's job is secure?
Oh yeah. I don't
Because
see a
AP is
reason.
signing Minshew the job.
Yeah, I don't see a way that AP loses his job right now. I mean, he's not gonna win another game. We know that, right? He's not winning another game. So
Maybe not with Minshew in this offensive setup. Maybe you're right. You might.
And again, I mean, who's making these decisions? I have to say, I don't know who's saying let's go with guard dog. Who do y'all think is saying let's go with guard dog?
See, okay, and that's actually a point that I didn't make earlier. And Turf, I appreciate you kind of bringing that up because here's my biggest thing is AP is, and I put it in the title of this video, at least in my thumbnail, is AP, is he testing these players' loyalty on the defense? Because if you put Gardner Minshew back out there, knowing what Gardner Minshew has been up to this point, again, everybody can blame Getsy, but the thing is, if you break down the film, Gardner Minshew has been extremely inaccurate. He cannot find the receivers, which you blame Scangarillo as well as Getsy. But Gardner Minshew was looking at open receivers like Brock Bowers and just not pulling the trigger. You can blame the O-line, but my biggest thing is you're putting Gardner Minshew out there. No player wants to lose. No player, especially on the defense.
Nope.
The defense is going to go and beat the piss out of you. It's that simple, right? That's their number 1 goal. They're going to beat the piss out of you, and they want to pitch a shutout, right? They want zeros on that scoreboard. But you put Gardner Minshew out there, and now you're basically telling the defense, go bust your ass because you're going to see a bunch of 3 and outs, especially given the fact that Scott Turner's the offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a whole breakdown. Like we completely dismantled the offense when it comes to coaches. That's the message you're sending to the defense. So is the defense still going to buy into all this, knowing you're now assigning Gardner Minshew under center?
I mean,
Turf, you played. I was
absolutely.
Guy, so I look at the defensive side, but
no, I absolutely. And you know what? A lot of the truth would be in the stuff that we absolutely are not going to be privy to, and that's literally these guys in practice. We don't know what Desmond Ridder looks like in practice.
There you go.
So I can tell you right now, these players will absolutely give up and not think twice about risking their health, etc., and just going through the motions if they believe that Desmond Ridder was the guy and they're sitting him out. So you're going to see
imagine
that
what he does look like in practice, Turf? I mean, your man been benched 3 straight times already, and he still can't start over him. So what does it look like?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, man. I mean,
defensive players probably like, hey, it really don't matter who you start at this point. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Just don't turn the ball over as much as you do, bro. Just don't do it.
At the end of the day, there's also only a certain amount of players that have secured jobs on this, right? Max Crosby, secured.
Yep.
Right.
Brock Bowers, secured. JPJ, secured only because you're rookies, right?
Right.
Outside that, what other jobs? Christian Wilkins, even though he's on the IR, season ending. Who else is without question secured on this roster?
I mean, obviously our best player, which is our kicker.
Yeah.
He's absolutely secure. Yeah, he's 100%
Okay, Turf.
What? I'm being honest. It's the truth. He's definitely,
no.
hey,
I'm
man. And
it's
you want to know
horrible.
what? You should.
Hold
You
on.
know this because you live there, and they sell his jersey in the Raider image. Man, you can't even buy other players. There's only like 5 people that you can buy in Raider image.
It's horrible. It's horrible when the first thought is kicker or kicker.
I agree.
Is it Carlson or is it Cole? Who's got their jersey?
Man,
it's Cole. No. It's Carlson. It's the punter. I think it's punter. It's the punter. Carlson.
If it's the punter, it's Cole. No. Hey, I definitely understand Cole being up there. I ain't gonna cap because he is damn.
Who's number 6? Who's number 6?
Cole. It's Cole.
It's got to be Carlson.
AJ Cole's the punter. Carlson.
Yeah. If it's 6, then it's Cole. That's AJ.
Both of them, I think they're secure. But real quick, Mary Rain, I appreciate the super chat.
Mary,
Tom Brady will draft.
Yeah, right. He's crazy. He's lost his mind.
Hey, Mary, we're going to get back to this question. I promise you. I'm going to highlight it. We're going to get back to this question because we don't talk about quarterbacks now. The Turf's here. But I kind of want to talk again. I just want to touch on this. But, Mary, I promise you we're going to get back to this. I appreciate the super chat. 100%. I mean, Turf, do you really think AP going back to Gardner Minshew? And again, these players, there's only maybe at most a handful of players that are guaranteed to spawn this roster next year. If you're traded away, if you're shipped off somewhere else, if a new regime comes in, lives are changed, lives are upended, not just players, but coaches. Do you think this, to me, it just feels like, does this move mean that AP's job is somewhat secure to where he knows he's got another year? It's hard to dissect, to be dead honest. Chat, let us know. I'm going to look at you guys' chat. Let us know if you truly think AP's job is secure. Hit that hashtag Raiders and then let me know and I'll bring it up. But do you think his job is truly secure? And do you think these defensive players buy in to wanting to win, knowing that they are going to have to put literally their bodies, their health, everything on the line, that Minshew is now going to take the field, knowing that we just started the season 2-7?
Right. Well, the other thing we got to also understand is that, I mean, there's no playoffs. So does it really matter who is behind center as a defensive player, particularly one that knows he's looking to, secure himself a spot and wanting to impress the coaches based on that situation because they don't want to leave Las Vegas? There's going to be a lot of those guys, whether they are talented enough or not to pull it off is another thing. But there will be some that absolutely are going to be talented enough to. And I think you're going to see that in some players, but it's not going to be enough for us to win games. And that's going to be the frustrating part, for us fans to have to watch for the rest of the season. Because, I mean, it's almost impossible for us to win any more games, many more games, with the exception of the people that are in the same boat as us. So I'm talking 2, maybe 3 wins max. And I mean, you're at 5 and 12. So, I mean, you're still picking in the top 5. You're still, nothing's going to change. No matter who plays quarterback, to be honest, especially if our line doesn't produce. And that may be another thing. I mean, for all we know, there's so many different scenarios. Ritter might be saying, nah, man, y'all, I'm hurt. Y'all let, Minshew play. I can't take another lick from my backside like I did last time. And hey, I know I'm just going to be here for the year anyways. I know y'all getting Shador. Maybe I can impress y'all in the offseason and,
I don't know.
Be the gap. But I don't see him sticking around, I guess.
I don't know, because I think Ritter, you go from because he was picked in the 2nd round, I believe, coming out of Cincinnati, right? And he was supposed to be the guy in Atlanta. He gets shipped off to Arizona. I do think that he wants to fight for a starting position. He wants to fight for a solidified job.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And so I think he's hungry. I do think he wants to ball.
No, I agree.
But again, I'm looking at it because I played the majority of my life on the defensive side. I just look at it and go, man, like I if I'm a defensive player that my job isn't solidified, isn't set in stone, right? Like if I'm a Divine Diablo, right? Where I'm like,
yeah, he's got to ball out.
I could still ball, but at the same time, if a whole nother regime comes in, I could be shipped off.
Right.
You have a little bit of investment. You have a little bit of interest as to who is going to be that quarterback because you want to see this coaching staff stick around. I think there's a good portion of these players that want AP to succeed because either AP brought him in or because they want to be able to stay and solidify their life, not upend their life and not have to move and not know what the next journey is. So I don't know. To me, I feel like, and you see what happens. You see what happens when another quarterback comes in, a change happens. Sometimes you can create a spark. Desmond Ridder might create that spark, especially given the fact that he had that last drive at the end of the game. No, it's prevent defense. They're not playing, solid defense, but he had a little bit of spark at the end of that Cincy game. Sometimes a new face, a new quarterback, even a new offensive play caller can kind of spark some things. But
can I say this real quick? Because I know Turf gonna go off. And I'm gonna be right back. I got something I gotta do real quick. But I will say this. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I've been saying this to Turf on our shows, and I've been saying it on my show. We gotta start trimming some of this fat. I ain't gonna cap, man. There's some players here that's been here for like 2-3 regimes already, dog. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, bro, like, yeah, I get it. Some of them might be playing cool, but then you got to think, right? Some of these guys have been here when we were supposedly a playoff team, when we were supposedly contending, and we still ain't done nothing. So at the end of the day, yes, it's coaching. We keep changing the coaches, but some of you players have been starting for 2-3 years already. You feel what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we ain't won nothing with y'all. So I'm okay with letting some people go. No cap, because you just said Diablo. I'm fine with that. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm not even gonna be mad at that. Correct. Certain guys on the defense that's been here for a minute, and we've accepted the fact that they're just mid or they're just not consistent. Whereas like I'd rather try to swing for a more consistent player at this point, or somebody that this coaching staff, or if they stay, is gonna bring in and get their own people. Because now we got to start shifting this out, bro. There's Gruden guys still up in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, got to go. That's got to go. We got to start trimming some of that fat, in my opinion.
So we're going to go back real quick because there is a comment, right? Raider Vision. I'm actually liking the idea of drafting Milroy, then Genty.
What?
Wait, hold on. I do want to go back. So, Mary Reina, I promise you I'd go back, and I'm doing it. Tom Brady will draft Carson Beck. As we get kind of back into the quarterback talk, Turf, what's your take on Carson Beck? I know Rundown, you kind of gave yours, but Turf, what's your take on Carson Beck?
It makes absolutely zero sense. He's at best a backup. At best a backup in the league. At best.
Bro.
He's
I'll
not
tell you
it.
what, if this happened right here, bro, that means you know what happened? If this happened right here, somebody like snapped their fingers and Tom Brady woke up from his double agent sleep that Robert Kraft put on him to put us in the organization. He's like, oh yeah, I gotta make a terrible decision for this organization, bro, because I'm in the trance, bro. I gotta destroy it from within. There's no way he would do this, bro. No way.
You already know how I feel. Yeah. I agree.
Carson Beck, huh? Again, everybody for the chat, just letting you know, like for myself, I started watching college football a couple of weeks ago. I wait for half the season to go through, and then I really dial in. Yeah, I honestly focus 100% of my attention on the Raiders and kind of break them down as much as I possibly can. But going to this one, obviously, Gentry is one of the best running backs in college football, right? One of the most electric running backs in college football. Is that something that you guys want to do? In chat, let me know. Put hashtag Raiders and let me know what you would do if you would want to get Gentry as well out of Boise State. But what's your guys' opinion on possibly going back? If you drop back in the draft, you get yourself a quarterback, and then maybe middle. Again, I don't know if Gentry would drop that far. I haven't done enough research on the draft just yet. But do you think Gentry would last till midway through the first round? Would you pick a quarterback and then get, while drafting back, you compile some first round draft picks, right? You get some capital. Would you pick a quarterback and then Gentry halfway through the first? Turf,
No.
I want your thought first because you just look like you.
Go ahead, man. Hey, Turf, we talked about this last week, man. Turf already know, man. Hey,
I'm in pain.
You know what I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
I'm in pain. I mean, for one, Milroe is an elite.
I mean, runner, yeah.
Player?
Runner, not quarterback.
It's the NFL, man. This ain't college.
Yeah.
And there's no way he reads anything well. He doesn't go through progressions. He's not really accurate. He's at best a project.
Well, if
he's worse than Richardson. He's worse than Richardson.
If it's not Milroe, would you pick up somebody else kind of later? Like who's that Ole Miss kid again?
Dart, that everybody is in love with.
Dart. You know, would it be a kid like that? But then get Gentry. Maybe
I've already called
fairly Milroe.
Yeah, no, I already called him the Trubisky of this draft coming up, Mr. Dart, because everybody's just falling in love with him for no reason. I mean, no, I'm just being honest.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, even Deuce gets the axe.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna say something that might make people shudder. But I said it last week, bro, and I said it on Turf and Rundown. Me personally, I'm staying away from Genty. I'm gonna stay away from Genty. I like him in college, but the reason I say I stay away from Genty, bro, he's already getting damn near 30, 35 touches a game in college, dog. Right. In college. So when he gets to the league, what is he supposed to get then? 10? Right. 12? He ain't getting no, you're not drafting no running back in no first round to give him no 10, 12 carries. Hell nah. 20 plus. You feel what I'm saying? 20 plus a game. So right now, I would love over the last 3 games, bro, I've seen 30, 33, 35 carries for this man. That's a lot of carries, dog. And they talking about he's about to play in the college football playoffs as well. That's even more wear and tear. Now, when he's in the league, bro, they're going to run him silly. They're going to run him silly. They're going to do him just like Zeke. You feel what I'm saying? They're going to do him just like 100%. Zeke. They're going to get him in there. He's going to have 200 plus rushes, bro. Them first 2 years, they're going to run him silly. And then after that, it's going to be ugly after that, bro, because he's already had so much workload, so much production. There's some guys like them 2 dudes at Ohio State. They don't have that much workload, bro. You get one of them 2 dudes, you straight. You feel what I'm saying? There are a lot of running backs in this draft that we can grab later rounds that will give us that production that we need, bro. Like guaranteed. So it don't have to be a first round guy.
So here's my thing is one of the best running backs. I stayed on my channel when the draft hit, right? When the draft went down, the running back, my favorite running back coming out of the draft was Ray Davis. I really liked Ray Davis.
Yeah. He was a 5th round, right? 5th round.
Yeah, so I put him on my channel. I was like, look, that was the running back I wanted to target later in the round. But when we talk about Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, some of these other quarterbacks, you know, Raider Vision, you're saying you guys are forgetting that under Tom Brady's leadership, the quarterback won't start the first year. If that's the case, and I'm a firm believer that you sit the rookie quarterback for at least a minimum of 8 to 9 games. Is there a quarter? Do you think Shedeur Sanders? One, do you think this is a better question. Do you think Deion Sanders would let Shedeur Sanders sit for a season? That's number one.
Yeah.
Number 2. Yeah. Okay. So number 2, do you think if Shedeur Sanders sat for an entire season and learned, do you think he could be a true top franchise quarterback if we picked him in a top three pick?
He is a true top. He is a true top franchise quarterback as long as he's given to the right person. A lot of these guys can be if they're given to the right people, but you can obviously see that a lot of these guys are always given to the wrong people. a lot of Panthers, a lot of Jets. I mean, they just eat quarterbacks up and spit them out. It's just disgusting. And that's why Tom gets to say what he gets to say about not developing quarterbacks, et cetera. And I mean, we're seeing it right now in Cam. I love Cam too. If I can't get Shador for whatever crazy, wild reason, then sure, I'm all about Cam. But guess what? Cam's sitting like 3-4 years because Cam is going to have a hard time learning the progression of the game, as well as to kick those bad, habits because you're athletic and, it just naturally comes in him to do stupid stuff like throw it, cross field, and it works in college. So there's just a lot of a project right there, a whole lot of a project, in my opinion. And there's no way Cam is coming and starting and doing well. I mean, that's just a disaster. That's just a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. And I mean, you're here. I mean, believe what these people are telling you. I don't know why it's so hard to I mean, Tom is telling you, hey, I am going to take care of this quarterback. He's not coming in. He's not playing. He's going to learn like he's supposed to learn. And it's going to be my guy, Shador, who I've already been teaching. It's exactly why I'm doing this. I mean, you already heard they're trying to get him to be signed off on to try to help him for the Big 10 or Big 12 a chip game and then the playoffs. You know what I mean? They're trying to have, I guess, whatever needs to be done for Tom Brady to be signed off on so he can lead that as far as, coaching Shador, etc.
I guess my question is
I love this dude's name, by the way. This is a fire YouTube. Fire name. That's it right there.
Oh, man. I'm trying to go through the comments. I wasn't able to even read the name. So, Rundown, I appreciate you pointing that out.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I guess here's my thing though about Shador is your turf. I mean, all the everything is leading up to where Shador Sanders might be coming to the Raiders. I agree with you. Everything's leading up to it.
I'm in Jersey.
and you're saying that just. Again, I'm trying to go through the comments, so I didn't hear exactly everything that you said about Cam Ward. So you're just not you're not on Cam Ward?
No, I love Cam Ward. I absolutely love Cam Ward. I just don't think he's going to – I think he'll end up being a Richardson based on the fact that he's thrown in there unless somebody's smart and gets him when, I mean –
3 years or something like
there
that.
Are a couple of places that would be shocking for somebody to get him knowing he's absolutely sitting for a while.
Well, look, they talking about the Giants, Turf. They talking about the Giants. They would take him. A lot of people said I don't see him going there though. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not over with the guy they paying. I can assure you that. That's not over.
How they gonna get rid of that?
Don't get me wrong. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna play that. It's gonna play out, and that's what I'm saying. Even if they do draft the quarterback, that dude is still gonna be able to play, and that may be just enough to give him an extra 2-3 years, and they allow that quarterback that they just put the next decade of their franchise on to really sit and learn.
Right.
So, I'm not gonna get hip to this, bro. I'm telling you, the Falcons just did it right, and everybody called them crazy. It blew up the whole world, and the Packers been doing it. They've been doing it for decades, and that's why they never need a quarterback. So I think you're going to see this a lot more. I mean, you hear Tom woofing and harping. You see that the college game is completely out of whack right now when it comes to NIL pay. These guys are not being developed, like he's saying. I know I'm regurgitating what these guys are saying, but you can see it on the field. I mean, it doesn't take, even a person that played football to look and see what they're seeing on the field and realize that people aren't being developed like we were taught. It's just not.
So here's my question. Here's my question, because I'm not opposed to this whatsoever. Jason Marshall, he says Trevor Lawrence needs to change the scenery in Vegas. Raiders can take him on his contract. Jackson projected as a top 3 pick with potential new head coach. Go to the draft, not get desperate for a mid-rated quarterback class.
Hey, if you told me we couldn't get one of them dudes.
But here's my thing. In Rundown, you heard me say this before, and that's my thing. Is if you are not 110% sold on taking, let's say you have a top 5 draft pick, if you're not 110% sold that one of these guys are your guy, then you could trade back. We now know just how much teams are willing to trade back, and the amount of capital that they're willing to give up to trade up to some of these spots. But man, if you brought in someone like a Trevor Lawrence that you could instantly build around for the next, maybe I'd say 4 or 5 years at least minimum, because then you start to get into that Green Bay blueprint. That Green Bay blueprint, to where you get in a veteran quarterback that now you can start to have a chance at winning football games. You can build around a little bit. You draft somebody that now you can develop, right? They sit for a couple of years, maybe 3 years, and you start that transition, because that's the thing is everybody, it's the long game. It ain't the short-term game. It's not instant gratification. You can't have instant gratification in this league. You know what I'm saying? You have to build. It's a process. And so I'll be honest, I wouldn't be mad if we all of a sudden, with the team that we have, you brought in someone like a Trevor Lawrence, right? And if he's struggling, let's say,
Jacksonville to do that.
Say what?
I said I double dog here.
Jacksonville. It doesn't even make sense, bro. You know how hard of a problem it is to get a quarterback this day and age. It just doesn't even make logical sense for them. What are they going to trade him up for? Another?
Now they're saying they do what Chicago just did. You feel me? Like
it's not going to make any sense. It makes no sense. You just had a quarterback that you were supposed to develop. So what? Now it's his fault you didn't develop him?
Yeah.
For me to change the scenery so you can ruin another one? This is my whole point, man.
The only thing I'll push back on, though, is you brought in Gardner Minshew, but you expected Kingsbury to be the guy. AP, I think, wanted Kingsbury.
Absolutely, 100%.
The contract, Kingsbury walked.
Correct.
If
and that's not AP's fault.
Exactly. So could AP bring in a guy that could develop a quarterback? I mean, if you marry him with a Trevor Lawrence, right?
Technically, now that's no longer his job. And we know that for a fact. That's Tom Brady's job. Why even question it? We know for a fact Tom Brady is who's bringing the quarterback in and who's going to develop that quarterback. There's no question about that.
Good point.
There's absolutely no question.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree.
He's going to want that play caller to mesh with whatever quarterback he chooses.
Tom Brady is going to make sure whoever is playing. It doesn't mean that's going to be the offensive coordinator, but what I'm telling you is I can guarantee you Tom is going to be heavily handed on that whole entire offensive front office and coaching staff. 100%.
Real quick, Raider Pete, they can keep Doug Peterson, bro. Doug Peterson is the reason that they're bad. I ain't gonna lie. They're the reason that
down here.
Yeah, he's the reason that.
I mean, Peterson won a Super Bowl now. I mean,
but he's not good right now. He's the one that's in charge of that offense for them.
No. I'm not saying. I mean, right. And guys, see, so we dig a lot deeper into these things now, to where we all have to speculate and somewhat have that conspiracy theorist type of a scenario where, let's talk about these coaches. Let's start thinking about it from their perspective. Let's stick up for them. Why'd you hire me? I told you I run a zone scheme. I told you these were the people I needed. You didn't give me the people I needed. You wanted me to make magic with what I got. So I did what I could, and this is what I came up with. But this is not my scheme. This is not what I chose to do. Because again, that's something Gatsy could be saying to us. This isn't the stuff I said I wanted to run, but this is what we got. You gave me this offensive line coach that can't run the zone. I'm just saying, let's look at it from their perspective, because there's a lot of that's going on, man. There's a lot of that going on. I'm just letting y'all know.
But you could also say that Luke Getsy had a hand in picking his offensive line coach, right? But We brought
we don't know that though. We really don't know that
for sure. But you would think that the offensive coordinator is going to potentially reach out to get an offensive line coach that matches his philosophy. You would think,
Right.
But the other thing to keep in mind is that we got Luke Getsy so late in the game that what was truly available.
That's my point. That's what I'm trying to say. These things were already kind of chosen for him. He didn't have any time. I mean, there was nobody available based on already being taken. He was getting scraps. The same thing as us, getting scraps.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I'm saying that dude, I guarantee you he's got a story to tell, and we all would be more empathetic to Getsy on his side of the fence. I can guarantee it. I'm not saying it's going, make him look any better and I wish we kept him. No, not at all. But I can assure you he didn't get all of what he wanted and or needed as well, and did his best to work with what he got, doing something that probably he didn't know what he was doing with. I mean, these guys are not seasoned guys, man. You're talking he's an offensive coordinator for what, 2 years? 3 years? He's not seasoned.
Yeah. But so let's do this. Raider Vision, he wants to know, who would you pick to be the head coach if AP gets fired?
You already know who I'm going to say.
Obviously, Ben Johnson's name is just getting thrown out.
No, it can't be though. Why? That's the same. The definition.
I know. I'm just saying it's being thrown out there. So it's going to be a very hot topic next year in the next head coaching cycle. And so, Turf, you seem real excited about this topic. So I'm gonna let you go after it. Who do you think could be the next head coach if AP gets fired? Who would you?
I know.
Put hashtag Raiders. Let me know who you guys want. I'll bring it up. But Turf,
I already know who it's going to be. I've been knowing. I've been saying it forever. And that's obviously Mike Vrabel. I mean, Mike Vrabel is 100% going to be the head coach.
Yep.
If for whatever reason they decide to let go of, AP, which I don't see happening. I just don't see it happening at all. You know what I mean? And there was something that I wanted to say, man. He made me forget about it. But it was, I just know that, the definition of insanity, bro. That's what these fans are talking about when it comes to what? You want to go ahead and get yet another rookie head coach. Another one. Back to back. After having to deal with the growing pains of the one that you got. And this was a majority decision. Everybody wanted AP. I'm sure we can go back to every content creator when this all went down and everybody was happy and excited about AP when we got him. I can assure you of that. And for whatever crazy, wild reason, because now he too, I can assure you, is learning that it ain't all of what he expected it was going to be, and he's not making all the decisions he thought he was going to be able to be making as a head coach. That's just the way it is. Think about it. Think about when Al was alive. Everybody and their mom knew that phone got picked up. Whatever Al said was going to happen. It didn't matter what your offensive coordinator said. It didn't matter what your defensive coordinator said. It didn't matter what anybody said. That was just what it's going to be. So, I mean, you got to remember, there's still chain of command. Not everybody's making all of these, for the first time, and I was happy because you could see it. It came off of his chest a little different. Yep, it was 100% my decision. I fired Luke Getsy. And for me, it's, that was easy to do. You didn't want him to begin with. That's not a hard decision to make. That wasn't your choice to have anyway. So,
yep.
Yeah. I could go on and on about these coaches, but 100% is Mike Vrabel, guys. Come on, man. I mean, that's Brady's guy, bro. Brady, if there's anybody from Patriot land that we should have been taking advice from the beginning, it is Tom Brady. It's not Bill Belichick. It's not McDaniels. I mean, I was happy with Ziegler, too. I'm going to keep it a bean. That's why we're in the situation we are with this $100 million, to keep it a buck, right? They did a hell of a job. They did a hell of a job with those dead contracts. Got to give them props where props is due. So, yeah.
They did. I mean, Ziegler did a really good job of kind of managing the contracts and stuff. I mean, shoot, they got Devontae Adams over here. Whether you like the fact that what he did in the last couple of years, I mean, you cannot tell me not a single Raider fan wasn't excited when Devontae Adams came here.
Absolutely. Everybody.
I'm
Some
saying-
people are still sick right now that he's not here. Sick he's not here.
Exactly. And so, you know, that's my biggest thing is Dave Ziegler. I think he did a pretty good job. I can't hate on him. Given the fact that he was, rumor has it, right? Reports say that he wanted to go up and get CJ Stroud.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And so you got to give him credit for
That was
100%.
true. Yeah, that was facts.
I wouldn't be mad at Mike Vrabel whatsoever because you know,
ecstatic.
he's already an experienced head coach to where he's already understood it.
He had the Tennessee Titans to back-to-back playoff games. Are you kidding me?
But he's also learned what it takes to be a champion, right? He's learned what it takes to be a champion. He's been that type of organization. He understands it. That's the interesting part about Tom Brady, man. I am still trying to rack my brain around just how I truly feel about Tom Brady. Only because he's won a bunch of Super Bowls, because he's a clear Hall of Famer. He's going to go down as probably the best quarterback to ever play this game. Doesn't always translate to you running an organization well or understanding talent. You know, you look at Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Bobcats. It doesn't always translate. And so I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I'm hoping for the best, because this is the situation we're in.
This is why it's straightforward and easy though, 805, because he's already got his guy. He's got Shedeur Sanders. There is no, like, you know what I mean? He's gonna have to evaluate talent or anything like that.
But I think we gotta be cautious. I think we gotta be cautious about trying to also hire an offensive guy just to hire an offensive guy. Right?
It's gotta be the right guy. I see some
people talk about, you know, in respect, I see vision. I don't know if it was Visions or somebody said it right now. Who said that? Yeah, Visions. Bobby Slowik, right?
Yeah, Bobby Slowik severe. That's severe.
A coordinator for like a year and a half. You feel what I'm saying? Like a year and a half, and we literally have only see him do something with a rookie CJ Stroud. If you ask any Houston Texans fan right now, they would tell you CJ Stroud 100% does not look like how he did last year. And yeah, it has something to do with the receivers and all that. But swear to God, ask any Texans fan, they're going to tell you Bobby Slowik's not doing his job. This is not looking right? Like how it did last year. So we got to be cautious, bro. Like we'll see a dude do something 1 year or like a year and a half, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, like this dude can be the next whatever. Like, remember we said back on the show, Turf, I remember back in the day, man, you had to go ahead and put in some years. You had to put in some years as a coordinator or an assistant coach before you was even considered to be no head coach.
Yeah, because it wasn't ever what was hot, bro. It was you kind of did the job, you know, without having the title before you actually got the job too. Like it was
for example, we talked about it, right? Everybody loves Ben Johnson. Kyle Shanahan, right? Remember when he was coming out? And I would argue Kyle Shanahan I'm not going to say huge, way better, but he's one of the, if not the best offensive mind in the NFL.
Right.
And look how many years it took him to coordinate, to get right before he got his head coaching thing. And even he wasn't
still ain't won a Super Bowl.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only one dude that it's really worked for, and that's Andy Reid, bro. Not everybody's finna get no Andy Reid. It's just, you know what I mean?
That's a once in a lifetime dude right there.
Or you can look at Ben Johnson like Mike McDaniel, if that's how you want to do it. Look at him like Mike McDaniel. But guess what? Mike McDaniel ain't won nothing. I venture to say that so far it's been pretty disappointing. If you want to say that, because they start well, right? They start well, and then they fizzle out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
around the league, bro, there are many examples of offensive dudes getting hired and all that. There's only one guy that it's working for right now. Only one. So let's be cautious, you know, when we say all that. You know, I mean, when we talk about let's just get this offensive guy because he's got this mind, he's all this, he's all that.
Right.
Relax.
No, I
bro.
agree. You know, I agree.
Fit.
100%.
So
gotta fit.
I'm with you, because here's my thing, and this is why I'll be honest. I'll throw it out there, and I'll stand by it. Like, I did want Antonio Pierce. I wanted AP. Everybody, and there was a
We all did.
comment earlier. Let's see if I can find it. Someone said everybody was on kind of, there it is. Huey P said 50-50, saw plenty who wanted Harbaugh as well. I agree.
I agree with that. Yes, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But here's the thing. Are we all convinced that Harbaugh wanted the Raiders? Are we all convinced that Harbaugh even...
He didn't, because he wanted too much control. There was no way he was going to do what AP
we didn't even
did.
interview him. He didn't even come in for an interview. And
Not even that, sir. To break it down, break it down even simpler, bro. Like, I don't even know if y'all have been seeing this video circling around about like him and how he interacts with Justin Herbert. There's your reason why he went over there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no. You think he was gonna come over here with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell?
But he knew.
No.
I think that he went, because he's an offensive guy. Like, he went to where the quarterback was. He's got history with the Chargers. He played for the Chargers, so it's, you know. But here's my thing: is the reason why I was good with AP1, because obviously just what we saw towards the tail end of the season, right? Just how much these players wanted him, and you want a guy that is a leader of men. And so the one coach in the NFL that I really respect right now, that I love his coaching style, is Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is just one of those guys that it doesn't matter if he has a quarterback or not.
The legend.
He gets the best of the team. Even if the offense is struggling, it doesn't matter if it's a third string quarterback sitting there. He might go 500, but he still gets the best out of whatever team he has.
Dude's never had a losing season, ever.
Yeah, and so Mike Vrabel kind of strikes me as that.
He does.
Mike Vrabel strikes me as that guy that is the leader of men.
Vrabel is dope.
Yeah. And so that's why I wouldn't be mad at it whatsoever, because
how you guys feel about Jason Marshall's comment right there?
Where is it at? Vrabel head coach, Wes Walker OC. Walker has been grooming under Shanahan.
That's true.
Sorry.
Now, see, there you go, right? Like, now Jason brings it up, bro. That is true, because Wes Welker has been under Kyle and Mike McDaniel for a minute. Now, does that mean he can call plays? I
wouldn't want Wes Welker. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what I mean?
It's just I'm biased. I want somebody experienced, man. I'm tired of these rookie. I'm tired of rookie everything, man.
That's why I didn't have my channel back when we had when we hired Josh McDaniels, but I was like, give up 3 first-round draft picks and go get Mike Tomlin, because that was when Mike Tomlin and the Steelers were kind of having
some
little bit of falling out. I was like, give up 3 first-round draft picks for Mike Tomlin. Just give it to him. Bring Mike Tomlin over.
Right.
That was one of the biggest things I wanted. But because obviously if the Bucks can trade for Gruden, I was like, go trade for Mike Tomlin. Just give him the ship. But that's the thing. That's the hard part, is when we look at head coaches, it's like there's not a perfect science to head coaches either. But the question is, who wants to come over here? Would Ben Johnson choose to come over here? The only way, and this is why I'm on the #SS, if y'all don't know, right? Here, strategic substitution. If you're on that tank game, I'm not. You can't hate it, because if we're gonna get a quality offensive coordinator, if we're gonna get somebody over here that is going to be of some talent when it comes to play calling, you better pair him up with a quarterback. That's the only reason why they will come over here. If you want a Ben Johnson, cool, that's fine. But Ben Johnson he's only going to come if he knows he can get his guy. And if we're sitting there picking number 10, he's going to go somewhere else.
I don't know. I kind of just want a guy that's ours too. Don't get me wrong. Now, I'm not saying as a rookie, as a coach. Appreciate you. I'm talking about as a quarterback. I kind of just want. I'm tired of the. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind a gap filler. Somebody that can play for 2-3 years. Maybe even 4. I think that's how long Love sat. He might even sat 5 years, but I think that is the way to go, man. I mean, Aaron Rodgers did the same thing. He sat 4, right? He sat 3 or 4 years.
You can't do that no more. You can't do that no more.
I mean, you can see, and that's the thing. See, that is what everybody says, but what we
4
do know
years,
is what has. Well, I mean, nah, you wouldn't do that with that kind of guy.
200
No,
plus
you wouldn't do that. So this is what I mean. So with these guys like a Justin, like a Dart, like you know what I'm saying? A back. He's somebody like if you sat him for 3-4 years, you might get something out of him.
But see, it's just I think the reason I say you can't do that no more is just because of the contracts. Because we're not gonna have the luxury
money
of that rookie contract anymore. Like once that 3rd year come, you're gonna have to Jordan Love him. You know what I mean? Like you got to see.
Well, I mean, if they playing like that, then hey, that's a good thing.
No, but see, understand. Remember when Jordan Love first got in there? All of us was like,
didn't look all that good. It didn't look all. But you gotta expect that.
I don't know. I don't know. So it's just like you're just gonna have to throw him out there and see what's going on. But it's just that's the risk reward, right? Because what if Jordan Love never took that leap that he did last year in the playoffs, and he was still playing? Because when he played us, he was a completely different quarterback last year. When he played us, so when he got to the playoffs against Dallas, totally different guy, right? But if he don't make that leap and he continues to play like how he did against us, you sitting there like, well, what the fuck did we just sit you for 3 years for? To learn what? What's you doing? Your ABCs? Like what you learning back there, bro? Like,
Real quick, guys, what's your thoughts on John Leon? Appreciate the comment. Eric Bieniemy.
I like Eric Bieniemy.
Coming up. I'm assuming, John, you're saying as OC. I'm assuming
as an OC. Yeah, that's what I mean as an OC.
I do it. I like it.
I do it in a heartbeat.
Last time I saw him, it was with the Commanders last year. He had Sam Howell. And Sam Howell was
exactly, bro. And that's what I'm trying to say, man. Get somebody that,
I seen him work, man. I seen that. Who else? I mean, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. I've been saying this. Why? I mean, we don't want to look at college. We wouldn't want to look at college for OC. Baltimore just did it.
I understand. I mean, I'm just saying. I think
I don't compare our organization.
The problem.
But I'm just saying, like more people are doing it. Like it's happening.
This is the problem. The problem is we are so heavy-handed defensively. We have to have an offensive-minded person. Like everything is defense. Think about it. Our head coach, our defensive coordinator. He's probably the assistant head coach for all we know. I don't know. But a lot of our leadership and what we know and what we're good at is defensively. We need somebody that's a head coach that's seasoned enough to really be able to run it like they're a head coach of the offensive coordinating side.
Well, let's hope probably the Browns coach or the Giants coach gets fired.
Dabble would be.
Oh man, that's a slam.
That would be a dream come true.
That's slam dunk.
That would be a dream.
That is one aspect that I think a lot of people we do need to take into consideration. Right, you have some really good really good coordinators or head coaches right now that might lose their job, like the Brian Davis.
There's no might. They will be.
You know what I'm saying? So, there might be some coaches that become available, but again, it goes back to you better have yourself positioned in the draft to entice them to come over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because our organization, let's be real, as the Raiders organization, we are not an organization that is sought after. I mean, I don't care if we're in the Vegas area and we're in a hot market or whatever you might want to call it. I mean, here's the other problem is that it's just you come over here and you also need something that free agents are going to want to come over here and play for us. Yes, you have there's no state income tax in Nevada. That's a big plus. Don't get me wrong. Money is a huge plus. But do players want to come over here? Do players want to come over here and play two home games out of the year? I mean, that's one that all you guys have played, right? I played the game for 15 years. You know how it is to play in your home crowd, in front of your home crowd.
Heck yeah.
That's what you look forward to every year.
Right.
We don't have that. We have that one time a year against the Chargers when they come into town. That's it.
Right.
And then when we go and play the Chargers in LA, that's it. And so we need to do something that's going to entice to bring players, coaches in, and to bring a coach in, a quality coach, offensive coordinator. We 100% need to be in position to get the quarterback.
You 100% right, 805, because, like, just for example, we stick with Daboll, right? You think Daboll gonna come somewhere with no quarterback after what he's just experiencing right now? I bet you he wakes up with night sweats with watching Daniel Jones film. He'd be like, God damn, bro. What am I? He went from, do you realize he went from Josh Allen to Daniel Jones? What a wake-up call that is. He will never make that mistake again in his career. Never.
I'm with you. Hey, all eyes on G, man. You make a very good point. Mark won't like Bieniemy's history.
No, absolutely not. That's why it'll never happen. We already know that'll never. We always.
That was
yeah, I forgot.
That was like who was the corner from Miami? That was a free agent.
Xavier Howard.
Xavier Howard.
Xavier Howard.
I knew never gonna happen.
Yeah.
You'll never bring that guy in this building with his history. So all eyes on G. Very good comment. 100%. Agree with you on that. Yeah, it's and that's where that, to me, that's where it's tough. We're sitting literally halfway through a season. And we're already talking the season's gone. And this has been just the Raider life for damn near as long as, I'm 41, right? And I've been following the Raiders since I was 9 years old. And in basically my lifetime, except for basically maybe 3 seasons, I've been able to hang on the entire season. Outside of that, it's all been just trash, and so that's what's tough, man. The Raider fan base, I understand. We do want instant gratification because we've been struggling for so long. But at some point, we need to start the process. And so far, Mark Davis has thought the process was Josh McDaniels, or sorry, he thought the process was John Gruden. Then he thought the process was Josh McDaniels, and it just hasn't worked out. We need to understand and look at the long-term goal as opposed to instant gratification. And it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's hard as all hell.
Hey man. I don't remember the last time it's been Thanksgiving. Like by Thanksgiving time, pretty much I'm always pretty much dejected by this point. So no,
can you imagine though? Let's do this. Can you imagine Lions fans though? I'm not gonna lie, because last year I was rooting for the Lions because I'll tell you right now, they brought in some guy that was like damn near 70 years old, 80 years old, and he was sitting there going, he was a season ticket holder his entire like adult life. And he finally got to see them potentially win like a second. I think because they haven't won a playoff game since like 52 or something crazy. We got it bad, but man, I feel bad for those Lions fans. I'm not gonna lie. At least we've seen.
See, but that's what scares me, bro. Like that's very well. Like we can very well be sitting in our potential. Like if I sit here and I'm 40 and we ain't won yet, dog. It's gonna be like, what the fuck?
Hey man, there's a lot of fans that are dealing with that though, bro. I think there's more fans that in that situation than not, though, to be honest.
So in rundown, look, I'll tell you right now, like me, I got 3 kids that I'm raising as Raider fans. It is rough.
It's hard.
And I live in the Vegas area. It is rough. I feel like it's a form of child abuse.
You're right. It's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. It's a why are you the big dummy? You can't
exactly.
To make matters worse, I got my kid on the way, and my grandma is a goddamn Chiefs fan.
Oh,
Mahomes, bro. Like her, like she don't really watch football like that. So
that's so hard.
No.
She's a Mahomes fan, bro. It's hard.
You're actually perfect timing, because by the time your kid grows up and can actually realize
what football
is,
Mahomes
will be gone. Andy
And
Reid
we'll
will
be
come out.
right.
Oh, you're right.
We'll be
You got
right.
someone on the.
yeah,
You
you're
got a
right,
little
right.
advantage to you.
Right.
Don't worry. Don't
You're
worry.
right. I didn't even think
you
about that.
good too. Yeah, you
By the
good
time
too.
he
He'll
start
be right.
understanding what's gonna happen, it's
Yeah,
about
he'll
right.
be right
So
now.
that's
Yeah.
Tell your
Mahomes will be up in the box, man.
Tell your
That's
lady
true.
go on
By
bed
that, you're
rest.
right. You're right.
Hey, tell your lady go on bed rest so that you just wait for the baby to come out a long time.
That's the thing. Run down. Hey, you should be patient for that. That should help you be a little patient. Like, hey,
by
I
the
got to
draft,
this boy understand. I
by
got
the
to this
draft,
boy
I'm gonna have a
understand.
whole new lease on life. You feel what I'm saying? New quarterback, new baby. We gonna be on, bro. It's gonna be
Exactly. That's what it's gonna be, man. You lucky. My oldest is 19. Hey, my oldest is 19.
Now. How about that? Let's start off now.
Yeah, my oldest is 19. I had to raise her through this. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Not fun.
that's ugly.
Only 2016 is all we have to reminisce on. That's it.
That's why whenever I walk out the house, all I wear is silver and black. And every time she looks at me and goes, "You still wearing that?" I'm like, one, you bet your ass I'm still wearing it. But two, I feel you.
Right. Exactly. I get it.
You know what we got to do, man.
It's so bad.
But I'm going to get to another comment that's thrown out here and to one of the diehards, one of the regulars. But shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody rolling through. You know what I'm saying? I got my guy Rundown up in the corner. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. I got Turf up in the other corner. Ultimate Raider Fan 32. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. I'm 805 Raider, Real Talk, Raider Nation. Make sure you guys just show your love, check in, hit that like button, subscribe. But Huey P, Gruden was going to turn us around until all that transpired.
Nah, we were getting there.
Do you really think he was going to turn us around?
No.
Do you really
it was going in the right direction.
Oh,
I don't know, Turf. We were starting like 5-2 and something in them last 2 years, and then we ended 8-9 or something. So it's like,
fun.
Was it?
Let's talk about it.
I don't know, bro. Because if you
my
start 5-2 and you end 8-9, I don't know if my math is all that good. I don't know.
I know that's a problem. That's a stretch of losses there. You got a couple of stretches of losses.
And that's 2 straight. I think that happened 2 straight years, if I'm not mistaken. In that third year, we were starting off good, but then the Henry Ruggs and all that stuff didn't happen. But then we were like, all right, well, it's just gonna happen again.
So the Henry Ruggs thing, I don't put on. I'll be honest, on Gruden. Of
course not. You can't put that on anybody but him.
What he did, I don't put on Gruden. Now, did I want CD Lamb in that draft? I did.
Yes, I did.
That's whatever. But okay. Did I want CD Lamb? Yes. Do I think Henry Ruggs actually had a pretty damn good, bright future if he continued?
He would have had a chance.
I think he did.
I don't think I wanted CD Lamb.
But
you didn't? I did. I think because he had that Biletnikoff jersey on. I know I wanted him from that Biletnikoff.
I didn't want him.
Here's my thing.
I didn't want him.
John Gruden was known to potentially have either the say or the biggest influence on the first round draft picks, and we failed miserably on the first round draft.
Big time.
And I'm sorry, but he came out publicly, and you knew he wanted Antonio Brown, and that Antonio Brown situation. Antonio Brown played John Gruden like the dirtiest I think I've ever seen. I mean, he got out of Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh knew that the Raiders weren't going to. The Pittsburgh knew that the Patriots weren't going to give up anything for Antonio Brown. So what did the Steelers do? They played the Raiders, and so the Raiders trade. All of a sudden, now that whole burning the feet thing, okay, that happened. Whatever. Like I don't think that shit on purpose, but that helmet thing, he played the shit out of the Raiders. Because he didn't step on the football field and he tried on 50 different helmets. But what happened? What happened the moment he got the news that he was traded to the Patriots? He jumped out of his seat on social media, running out of his backyard. And I don't care who you are. You don't jump out your seat celebrating when you just lost $31 million.
Exactly.
And then he's on the next flight to New England. And what is he? Within 24 hours, he's on the practice field with a regular old helmet. Never did you hear about a helmet issue after that.
No.
So he played the shit out of John Gruden. Now
he did.
Mind you,
he did.
I didn't like John Gruden's play calling. He was way too predictable. He was I mean, the amount of times it got to a point one season where we had 12 fourth and less than 2 situations. Out of those 12, he ran 9 fullback dives. After the fourth fullback,
yeah.
I was like, "Are
that's
you kidding me?"
In 2024, you feel, or whatever, even 2020,
It
whatever.
don't matter when. It don't mean 1990. It don't matter. Yeah.
There was one play where I remember it. I was actually at my parents' house. I was sitting next to my dad and my brothers, and it was 4th and 1. And I was like, watch, fullback dive. And what did they do? They actually motioned Josh Jacobs out of the backfield with the fullback sitting in the backfield. I'm like, okay, got it. You just told the defense it's fullback dive. You didn't even leave our number one running threat in the backfield. And it was a fullback dive, and we were stopped. It was just, and then I think it was a stat where I think he lost like 12. No, not 12. Sorry. It was something like 9 straight challenges.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
He was bad. He was bad. He was bad.
I remember that.
So you combine just the absolute misses in the first round, and then everything else that kind of that ensued, that went down. Now, don't get me wrong. As much as I didn't agree with him, I didn't want him to be the head coach. I think the NFL did him dirty. I didn't want to see him go out that way.
Right.
So I'll put that
real
out
quick
there.
though, 805. If that stat you just said is true about the challenges, because that's horrid, right? 9 for 12, or whatever.
He was literally like 1 for I think 11 at one point. Like
that's
it was like
horrid.
it was stupid.
That's wild.
But to say that, right? Those very same people that are getting on AP about that would never say nothing about Gruden, and that's the problem I have. And guess what? Gruden been in the league for how many years, and he fucking up challenges like this?
Yeah.
Stop it. So if that is you, and you would have said Gruden would have did this, Gruden would have did it. If that stat that 805 said is even remotely true, which knowing 805, it probably damn well is, then if you are one of those people getting on, if you getting on AP and you're turning that blind eye to Gruden and all that, you got to check yourself in the mirror, dog. You got to check yourself in the mirror, because this is a rookie. Gruden, everybody tell me he has experience. He won a Super Bowl. So why is he losing all these? Why is he losing in these moments? Why is he not executing in these moments as we should? But that's just the whole thing, bro. It's like, are we going to give somebody grace? Are we going to let them learn? Or do we want the veteran head coach and we expect that to already be instilled in that person, right? Because we knew before the season. Turf said it. We all knew. Some of the things need to be instilled with AP. You're just going to have to go through the situation for you to learn, to understand how it is to be the head coach. But then we want to bring another person in here that has no idea about them situations at all, right? But he can call plays, though. You know what I mean? Like, he can call plays, though. That's all it is. Come on, bro.
There was actually one play that actually it was I don't know why he ran it, and it boggled my mind. But we were 3rd and 7 on the goal line, and he ran a tight end screen to Jason Witten, a guy that couldn't get 7 yards in 20 minutes. Like, it was just like, I was like, wait a second, you just ran a tight end screen.
Yeah, that's when he was slow. He was slow.
Slowest tight end I've ever seen.
Out of all the talent that we had on the field at that point, I mean, that was when we had Aguilar, we had Ruggs, we had Waller. I mean, we had a ton of talent, and you ran a tight end screen on 3rd and 7
with the worst.
I actually think that was the game. It was late in the game to actually go up to potentially win, and that was one of the games where Jason Witten needed a catch in order to keep his streak alive of a catch in like every game for so many years. I'm like, wait, okay.
Right.
So you just put that player over a potential win. Like that's what pissed me off. Like, I remember that specifically.
Man. How do y'all feel about Steve's question? Because that's a great question.
Which one was
if
that?
you're on the Ben Johnson, or just maybe not even on the Ben Johnson train.
How
much success do you give golf? How much of the percentage? Right? Like, out of 100.
Oh,
how much is Goff responsible for some of what we're seeing for Ben Johnson. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Goff is like no top 10 quarterback, but he has been to a Super Bowl before he got to Ben Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's had success before Ben Johnson. So I'm not saying he's a great quarterback, but he has had success. I will give Ben about 60% of it, though. I will say that. I give Ben about 60% of the success that they're having offensively. Goff, I give the other 40. Simply because before that Houston game, bro, he was elite.
Well, look at this. Let's do this. So let's take everything into consideration, right? Let's look at the Lions' last 2 drafts. They bring in Jahmyr Gibbs. They bring in who's their tackle? He's not even their left tackle. He's their right tackle.
Oh, Sewell. Penei
Sewell. Yeah. All right. They're bringing Almon St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Like, they build pieces around him.
Montgomery.
Exactly. Bringing in David Montgomery. And they did a hell of a job of building everything around him to allow Goff to have success. And so
to be a game manager. That's basically what he's doing. We all see what happens when he decides to be a gunslinger.
And Jason Marshall, good. Jameson Williams as the deep threat.
A lot of guys.
That's the question. Now, again, you can't knock somebody for an organization doing a very good job of giving the offense coordinator talent, right? You can't knock the offense coordinator just because they gave him talent. But you have to take that into consideration that can you take an offensive play caller? Like, nobody is Andy Reid.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Andy Reid is finding ways to potentially win with you got Rashid Rice, gone. Isaiah Pacheco, gone. Hollywood Brown that you thought you were going to have, gone. And not saying that Kansas City is the reason why the Kansas City offense is the reason why they're winning, but they're producing when they need to, type of thing, right?
Oh yeah,
majority of the time. But when it comes to Ben Johnson, you can't discredit him for the organization doing a very good job of drafting well, bringing the right guys to make sure that offense can reach its potential. You got to give Ben Johnson credit for bringing that potential out of it. So for example, the one thing that I'll give credit for Luke Getsy. If Luke Getsy came in and Brock Bowers was catching one ball for 15 yards, I'd be pissed.
Oh, yeah.
But what Luke Getsy do? Luke Getsy actually took a mediocre bottom-tier quarterback and turned Brock Bowers into one of the best tight ends in the league as a rookie.
Yeah, tight ends, that's your best friend, though. You know that.
But it doesn't matter.
That's your quarterback. I'm just saying when that's your quarterback's best friend, that's everybody, even the greats. Like, I mean, right? Look at Mahomes and Kelsey. Like, that is like that.
If he didn't do as much as he did, like,
Who?
You know what I mean? Like Bowers, like lining up outside.
No. I'm just saying, honestly, I think any quarterback is going to be hitting Bowers. That's all I'm trying to get across. I don't care what quarterback it is. I think that's who you're going to go to. For one, because he's a large target, and then for two, he's usually always in a big mismatch.
I would say yes and no, because at the end of the day, it's still the NFL. It's not easy to scheme guys open. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Brock Bowers is doing nothing but throwing 50-50 balls where he's just double covered all day long. I mean, there's times where he's catching balls where he's open.
Why?
He's got 2-3 steps. I think there's a stat that came out that he's one of the highest percentage receivers.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
Pass catchers, that has the largest average of separation.
Gotcha.
From the defender. And so, again, you got to give some credit where credit's due. He's able to scheme him open. So offensive coordinators do a very good job. And again, I'll give it to Ben Johnson. He's taken the talent and ran with it. And he's 100%. Done a very good job. Yeah. So if we can get if AP can do it, if he's the guy, but if you can get guys to develop and bring in the right talent,
right,
then you have a chance.
Correct.
But Unfortunately for the longest time with the Raiders, we just have not been it. Unfortunately, right? I mean,
It's a lot of problems.
we're just horrible. We're
Right.
horrible at making the right decision on the immediate future of the Raiders.
Well, a lot of this was Al's fault, and yeah, everybody know. If you know me, you know I love Al. It's the reason I'm a Raider fan. I'll always love Al. You know what he stood for, etc. You're always going to get a history lesson from me if you try to come even remotely close to trying to say your team is better, any of that stuff. Because Al is literally the reason why the NFL even exists. So, with that being said, Al screwed the hell out of us for the last decade of his life. And it's going to take a long time to come back from that.
And you're seeing that out of like
it's the dysfunction that you see. It's the dysfunction that you see.
Is the next Al Davis. That's what he's doing for Cowboys.
Well, that he always wanted to be Al Davis. That's the funny part about all of this. He's always wanted to be Al Davis. He always followed in Al Davis's footsteps. That's why he always did things big, etc. A lot of stuff came from Al Davis, man, and people are starting to see that. There's a lot of people coming out saying certain things, kind of like how, what's that saying? Do your job. How everybody thought that was the Patriots, and right. They thought that came from Belichick, etc. No, that came from Al Davis. Al Davis was the one that said, do your job. So, and they all gave credit to Al Davis. And a lot of people didn't know that till like literally this year recently. But yeah, that's what it is, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back just real quick, Steve or Ilana. Hopefully I pronounced that right. God forbid anything happens to Goff. Do you expect Hendon Hooker to come in and continue the success? No. Like that's as much as I think Hendon Hooker was a really good quarterback at Tennessee. I didn't like the system he was in at Tennessee, but
he's a rookie this year, right?
No, he was a rookie last year.
Oh, so he sat for a year. I mean,
yeah, he sat for a year. That's where I think Hendon Hooker.
He's still not ready though.
But even if you did throw him in, even with a year to sit and learn and stuff, I think to kind of Steve's point, that the tough part is if Goff gets hurt on that offense,
right?
Then what does Ben Johnson look like? I mean that's the thing. Is all of a sudden does that offense produce?
See, this will sound messed up, but I think Goff is replaceable. I do.
I mean, he can be, but not by Hendon Hooker to have this.
I think you can. I think you can get a game manager. I don't know, man. That they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. I think you can get a game manager, a real legit, like no bells, no what's like in Aiden. If they stuck Aiden O'Connell back there, might be a match made in heaven. I mean, he's the traditional, quintessential, straight up and down quarterback. No movement, no agility, no athleticism. And I honestly think, if Jared Goff got hurt, they could find somebody to come in and manage that game. I mean, it sounds messed up. I mean, I don't know. It's not an easy way to say that. It's just what I believe.
No, and I'm with you. Like Goff, there's nothing like
special
about Goff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you put Goff in a situation where the organization doesn't help him or doesn't bring the right talent around him. Like that's where I think everybody needs to. Not everybody. Don't mean it's everybody. But it's like right. Some people just need to understand. Like this is a team sport for a reason. And it's not just team, it's also coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? Like all the pieces need to align in order for things to work. Look at what's happening with the 49ers, right? When Debo goes down, when Christian McCaffrey goes down, with Ayuk goes down, next thing you know, Brock Purdy just doesn't look as good as everybody talked about, in the past.
All of a sudden.
That's just what it is. And so you look at our offense, you look at what our offense has gone through this entire season with Colton Miller coming off a season-ending surgery and rehabbing that and not 100%. JPJ not full go for the first 3-4 games. Devonta Adams basically out of it and then shipped off. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Michael Mayer that again has his stuff going on, so he exits the team. And then you got everybody shifting around. Then you got Jacoby Myers. Now you were the number 2 receiver the entire offseason. Now go learn the number 1 receiver position in the same offense. And then Trey Tucker, go learn the number 2 because you were our slot all offseason. Go learn the number 2. Then DJ Turner, come on in. Now you fill in for the number 2. You know what I'm saying? And now practice squad tight ends. Now you need to come up and learn the system. I mean, everything is just shifted around to where good luck. You put Jared Goff in our offense.
No way. He'd be worse than Minshew.
Not going to happen.
He'd be worse than Minshew.
100%.
Yeah, he would be worse than Minshew. Yeah, no question about it. No question.
That's what I'm saying. And so, look, and shout out to Al Azanji. He said Al had a better record in his last 11 years than Mark has had in his first 11. After all the salary cap issues.
Yeah, but that's unfair. That's unfair because Al Davis is football, was football. Mark Davis don't know jack about football. Two different
like
people.
That. Yeah.
No, it is like that. He knows absolutely.
No, I mean not like Al. No, he's not like Al. He's not Al.
He don't know nothing about football. He never took interest. You don't remember that was one of the biggest issues with when he started to take over and be around. Those were the biggest jokes. That dude was never around football like that.
Yeah,
I think he got
Mark
better.
Davis
He's got
never around.
Well, at least
he's gotten better because he gave up control.
For sure.
Yeah, because he gave up control and now started letting the football people do the football stuff.
I'm gonna leave it with this because we've been rocking for almost 3 hours. I know my wife is probably gonna yell at me, but
that's where I'm at.
Here's my thing is I think with Mark Davis, part of me feels like Mark Davis really did feel like he had to live up to his dad's legacy instantly. And so he kind of had that panic, right? When Reggie McKenzie, when everything kind of fell apart with Jack Del Rio, I think he panicked. He didn't really know what to do. And he was like, okay, I got John Gruden. But there's a good chance that John Gruden was going to come over with Reggie McKenzie. So he's going to let John Gruden do his own thing. And so John Gruden brought in his buddy Mike Mayock, which is asked backwards. You want the GM to hold the head coach accountable. And then when all that didn't work out, he panicked and said, I want this shiny object, which is Josh McDaniels. And then did it ask backwards again, where he allowed Josh McDaniels to bring in Dave Ziegler. And Dave Ziegler could not hold Josh McDaniels accountable to his failures and what he did. And so I think at the end of the day, part of Mark Davis panicked a little bit. And I think he felt so much pressure to bring back what his dad did for so many years and bring this organization back to the success that it saw back in the, his Al Davis's good days. He just didn't know what to do and he panicked. And that's, in my opinion, I think that's what truly set us back. Yes, Al Davis had some rough years. His last, 9 to 11 years, that was rough. Don't get me wrong. But I also think that Mark Davis just has panicked, hasn't really understood the path to go, and he went after those shiny objects and didn't really understand how to really manage it. And now we find ourselves in this position. And that's why, to me, as much as you could be a fan of Tom Telesco or not, I hope he just lets Tom Telesco do what he does. Just see what happens.
Agreed.
He's drafted well. He's done a pretty good job up to this point. Right. Let him run the ship. If AP's the guy, let him be the guy. But if not, let Tom Telesco run the ship, because at the end of the day, the levels of command need to be right. Because if they're not, if they're asked backwards, we're going to find ourselves in the same position we did with John Gruden, and we're going to find ourselves the same with Josh McDaniels. So that's my thing. So, but hey, we've gone for 3 hours, man. I know, Turf, man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you checking with us. Short notice. You coming in the chat. We're like, hey, come on in, man, because we love talking to you. Hey, and in the chat, I appreciate all you guys. You guys rolling through with us. I wish I could have got to more of you guys' comments, but at the end of the day, I appreciate you guys rolling up and rolling through. I think you guys got your Raiders Syndicate every Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, I'm supposed to be doing that shit, man.
We've
The
been
OG's
slacking.
been flaking. I put it like
We've
that.
been
The
slacking.
OG's
I ain't gonna lie, we've
No.
been slacking. We've been slacking.
But if you ever free on a Saturday, 8:05 or
Yep.
Sunday or whatever the case, man, let us know,
Right.
bro. You definitely more than welcome to come on the TRS
Come
show,
through.
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Y'all definitely, I'll keep you guys to that because I kind of do my videos, but I like to jump on and do some lives here and there because again, I think it's a really good way of being able to kind of express a little bit more deeper as to what your thoughts are. So,
Right.
and I'd much rather talk to you guys because then I try to talk to my wife about it and she starts looking at her phone. So,
Bro, my girl don't want to hear it either. She like, why are we still talking about this? They suck. I'm like, hey man, get the Z. All right,
exactly. So as soon as I start talking, just her phone goes to her face. So I get it. So
That's hilarious.
but no, hey, I appreciate everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys head over to The Ultimate Raider Fan 32. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, Raider Rundown. Make sure you guys go over there. I'm 805 Real Talk Raider Nation. Appreciate all you guys sticking with us. And again, make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you know when any of us go live and you guys check in. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Turf, as well as Rundown. Chat. Have yourself a great rest of your night. We'll see you guys on the next one. We're out.
Peace.